Hi, everybody. My name's Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah YouTube channel. And we can't thank you enough. There's going to be a little bit of confusion, I'm sure, as all of you guys, at least in North America, have changed your time again, which is pretty funny for the rest of the world that changes their time. And we really don't know what's going on. So when you guys make it here, you guys make it here. And we can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us. We are the people who believe that the laws, the statutes, and the commandments that are found in the first 5 books of scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, are the foundational rule set guidebook for all of life. We live in this religious industrial complex that is as bad as every other industrial complex. And the religious system has given us all of these lies and these things that they tell us that if we do, we will find salvation. Now, the problem is when you actually read scriptures, none of this religious system rhetoric is actually true. It doesn't have anything like that. There's no such thing as asking Jesus into our heart for salvation. It doesn't exist in scriptures. There's a lot of things inside of scriptures that contradict all of these 400,000 different religious systems that we have. So how can we have 400,000 different religious systems and every single one of them do different than what the scriptures say? How have we fallen? How have we decided that this is going to be the wagon that we hook our star to? Because when you look at scriptures and you take and get rid of the religious system, it becomes very clear very quick that it's not what you would call a religious system, but a deception system. And every single one of these so-called denominations of any of these so-called religious systems all have their own rules. They all have their own guidebooks, and they all have their own philosophies for how they are going to find salvation. But coming back to what the scriptures say, there's no such way to salvation. That is asking Jesus into your heart, or the worst thing of even yet is taking the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator and saying they are dead. They are nailed to the cross, and saying because of this, we don't need to keep them and we don't need to follow them. So my friends, we are the family that represents the scriptures in a positive way. In a way that all of scriptures from the front of the book to the very end of the book is something that we need to keep and focus our lives on. So with that, we wish you guys a good morning, a Shabbat Shalom, and let us get going with our first set of music, and it is out of the book of Khalidi.
Don't pretend. Yeah, repairs what we are meant. 2 men went to pray that day. One was proud, one humble, great. The proud man praised his perfect life, but inside he held sharp strife. Pray like a mirror, not for fame. Yeah, cleanse hearts, always the same. The humble rises, the proud falls down. Torah truth earns his crown. The humble man stood far away. He said, yeah, help me obey. He knew his weakness, told the truth, and yeah, restored his inner roof. Pray like a mirror, not for fame. Yeah, cleanse hearts, always the same. The humble rises, the proud falls down. Torah truth lesson, it won't pass. A chariot must be checked for flaws, or it will crash without Yah's laws. If you hide behind fake glass, you'll miss the lesson, it won't pass. A chariot must be checked for flaws, or it will crash without Yah's rounds. If you hide behind fake glass, you'll miss the lesson, it won't pass. A chariot must be checked for flaws, or it will crash without Yah's law. Not just words, but life and death. Yeah, love's truth inside the soul. That's what makes a person whole. Pray like a mirror, not for fame. Yeah, cleanse hearts, always the same. The humble rises, the proud falls down. Torah truth earns Yah's crown. Don't twist yes into no. Truth is simple, let it flow. If we want the reign of Yahuwah, we must be like a child, pure. Truth like a child, clean and bright, no crooked words, no hidden spite. We believe what Yahuwah says, and we walk it all our days. No more twisting, no more lies, open hearts and open eyes. A scribe said, how do we know? Yahushua said, don't twist it so. You pull truth apart to hide, just to keep your comfort pride. Truth like a child, clean and bright, no crooked words, no hidden spite. We believe what Yahuwah says, and we walk it all our days. No more twisting, no more lies, open hearts and open eyes. He said unless you take it pure, you can't enter Yahuwah's door. Not by clever, not by fake, but by truth, for truth's own sake. Truth like a child, clean and bright, no crooked words, no hidden spite. We believe what Yahuwah says, and we walk it all our days. No more twisting, no more the heat again, but you close your eyes to signs of the times and changing lines. Truth like a child, clean and bright, no crooked words, no hidden spite. We believe what Yahweh says, and we walk it all our days. No more twisting, no more lies, open hearts and open eyes. Hypocrites can read the sky, but ignore what's passing by. We will listen, we will see. Torah truth will set us free. Truth like a child, clean and bright, no crooked words, no hidden spite. We believe what Yahuwah says, and we walk it all our days. No more twisting, no more lies, open hearts and open eyes. Torah forever stands in place. Yahuwah's truth through time and space. From Bereshit the word was given, life and truth sent down from heaven. Not for one, not for a few. Torah stands forever true. Children speak his name when you rise and when you rest. Walking Torah is the best. Oh, forever and ever, generation to generation. Torah is life for every nation, not removed, not swept away. Yahuwah's word will always stay, not nailed down, not cast aside. Torah lives and will abide. Yahuwah spoke and so it is. His commands are ours to live. Oh, forever and ever, generation to generation. Torah is life for every nation, not removed, not swept away. Yahuwah's word will always stay. All the peoples young and old, same commands, the truth we hold. One creator, one true way, walking Torah every day. Oh, forever and ever, generation to generation. Torah is life for every nation, not removed, not swept away. Yahuwah's word will always stay. Forever and ever, generation to generation. Torah is life forever, not removed, not swept away. Forever and ever, generation to generation. Torah is life forever, not removed, not swept away. Yahuwah's word will always stay. Guard my ways, Yahuwah said. Choose the path that He has led. My commands are life, he spoke. Not a burden, not a yoke. They are light upon the road. Truth revealed, the way to go. Guard his ways, obey his voice. In his Torah we rejoice. Life and good he sets today. Choose to walk the righteous way. Not traditions built by man, but Yahuwah's perfect plan. Written firm, forever sure. Torah stands strong and pure. Guard his ways, obey his voice. In his Torah we rejoice. Life and good he sets today. Choose to walk the righteous way. Messiah said it clear and plain. Lawless works will not remain. Those who do the Father's will walk his Torah standing still. Guard his ways, obey his voice. In his Torah we rejoice. Life and good he sets today. Choose to walk the righteous way. Faith is shown by what we do. Walking out his word is true. Love for Yahuwah is displayed when his commands are gladly obeyed. Guard his ways, obey his voice. In his Torah we rejoice. Life and good he sets today. Choose to walk the righteous way.
All right, beautiful people. That was the praise and worship that we have for today for this Shabbat. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your Shabbat. We thank you for your blessings upon us. We thank you for watching out for this people and bringing us into your covenant. And we ask that today your Shabbat is blessed, that all the people get rest today, other people get recharged, that the Ruach HaKodesh is on them, on their heart, on their mind, on their eyes, as we dive into this word, as we read your commands, and as we read your Torah. We thank you for it in his name. Amen.
All right, so here we are, everybody. We are into week 3 of the United States and Israel war against a sovereign country, and we are all as spectators sitting here watching this, watching the destruction of the world from before our eyes. And the funny thing is that we live in this satanic religious system that all of these Satanists think that they're bringing in Armageddon. They think that they're bringing in the rapture of the Messiah of the universe. They believe that what they are doing is biblical prophecy when it comes out of the book of Revelation. Now, the funny thing about all of this is that the book of Revelation is very clear that the Torah keepers are the ones who win in the end. In fact, it's very, very clear when you read through the rest of the scriptures that the things that are happening right now are pretty much the Satanists that are trying to do all of this. So this gives us all, every one of us, a great opportunity to figure out what in the world is going on. Now, if we have a whole bunch of Satanists that are believing that they're bringing in Armageddon and that they are bringing in the return of Jesus, and that is literally what these guys are saying, well, how do us as Torah keepers try to figure this out? How do we align our lives to the way of the world? And a lot of times the answer is we don't. We don't align our lives to the way of the world. We don't get out our little red, white, and blue flags and celebrate the destruction of sovereign countries. We stay away from it. This is what is being called set apart. The set apart people of Yah are people that do not look like the rest of the world. We're not involved in any of this. We're not part of this. The United States government, even if we are Americans, they're not our government. We're not in control of any of this stuff. You know, they were sold out decades and decades and decades ago. You don't make it into the world of politicians the same way you don't make it into Hollywood unless you are a sold out individual. So these are all great opportunities for all of us because it looks like, what they're trying to project is end time stuff upon all of us. So when you read the scriptures, you're not looking for a rapture. You're not looking for any of this. In fact, the rapture that has been conned onto all these people that are suckered into the religious system is they think that they can sit and eat pork. They can nail the laws of our Creator to the cross. They can hate the words of our Creator. And the magical rapture school bus is going to come take all the disobedient children to where good children go, right? And that's the thing. We are supposed to be children of the Most High. We are supposed to be good children of the Most High. Now, the understanding of what good and evil is has been very, very misunderstood in this world that we are in because 95% plus of the world's population have no laws of our Creator. They don't care what the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator are and never, ever will. And so they live in this delusion. They live in a societal hoax where they don't really even know what in the world to believe other than what the greasy preacher that tells them that they're always going to be saved, and they come up to the altar call and their sins are forgiven. And these greasy fellas are sending people to hell because people will not pick up their scriptures and read them. And so this is why we are sitting here together as a family with all of you guys, and we very much consider all of you guys our family. Because we get people from all over the world that are here. And the one thing that you will always get from this channel is you will get people who are pushing you towards these laws, these statutes and commands that the rest of the world pulls you away from. And so as we are opening our eyes, as we are becoming that covenant group of people, the people that are attempting to find salvation in a crazy, crazy world, here we are on this beautiful Shabbat, on this appointed time of our Creator, where we are keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of our Creator. So with that, Jade, will you please give our brothers and sisters the Shema?
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children. And shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them to sign in your hands, and they shall be firmly between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Now let's be honest, amongst all of us here sitting around this little table, in the honesty that we're doing, does any of the religious system that all of us came out of, most of us came out of it, does any of the religious system that we have right here say this, right? Does everybody thinks that they love who they call God, right? You ask any Christian out there, oh yeah, I love God with all my heart, mind, and soul. I love my neighbor as myself. And that's the entire Torah. And they will tell you that without even blinking. And they tell you that and they absolutely believe it. But yet, when we see scriptures like this, we have to come to the understanding that we have been lied to as a people. We've been lied to as a civilization. The hand of Satan has been lying to us since the day of his birth, literally. This guy has been ordained for a time such as this to where the world is so pacified that they will believe absolutely everything. Now, what you see in the Shema is, first of all, you have an identifier. If you guys don't know who you are, if for some reason you think you're a Baptist or a Catholic or a Mormon or something of the sort, I will tell you those are all parts of the lies of the system, right? They will say, okay, I want you to be a Mormon. I want you to believe that, you have to have your wife all greased up in the temple to have this special marriage, and we're going to get baptized for the dead. We're going to do all this kind of stuff, right? That's the label, and that's the rule set that you take on. Being a Catholic, you're like, okay, I go to this little box. I have my sins forgiven by some guy that's probably a triple pedophile, and it's all good. I can say 7 Hail Marys and I'm gone. Well, all of this stuff doesn't actually, there's nowhere in scriptures any of this stuff is. In fact, we have learned from scriptures in of itself that we are Israel. We are the identifier of Israel. Now, that includes 12 different tribes, but as part of the world that we are in, when the kingdom comes, when our Messiah comes back and we are called to the reunion, this is who we are. You're not going to be, oh, Christian, oh, Catholic, oh, whatever. You're going to be, oh, Yisrael, right? How do you make the tribes of Yisrael? What qualifies you to be of the tribe of Yisrael? Well, it's simple enough. And all of the scriptures tell us that when we obey the laws, the statutes, and the commandments found in the first 5 books, that makes us a part of Yisrael. Now, how do we not be a part of Yisrael? Well, the laws are nailed to the tree. It doesn't matter to us. None of this stuff matters to us anymore. And so then we are not Yisrael, but we are the sons of the devil. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know the devil didn't create me. He has not blessed my life. He has not given me all the finer things in life. He did not give me breath. He did not give me hair. He did not give me eyebrows. He didn't give me any of this. What he gives me is he gives me headaches, because he's always simply trying to take away and curse, destroy, and maim everything that our Creator has given. So when you understand that you are Yisrael, and our commandment is that we need to love our Elohim with all our heart, with all our being, with all our might, those are big words, right? Those are words of life. What do you mean we love our Creator with all our heart, mind, and soul? And then continuing on, what about, he says, Moshe says these words which he's commanding us today, they're supposed to be in our heart. Okay, if they're in our heart, that means we're going to remember them. It's going to be a part of our life. And in fact, we are supposed to impress them upon our children. Now, I think of the word impressing a lot like a cattle brand. We impress a cattle brand up on the side of our cows, and when it is done, there's a big mark that clearly tells us those cows are ours. Now, when you impress the Torah into your children, into the hearts, minds, and souls of all of those in your house, then you are branding them as a child of the Most High. And this is why we have these words right here that all of us should be taking our children and embracing them into the Torah, into the scriptures. It's a daily thing. So as we get up, as we go to bed, in fact, we're supposed to bind them on our hands, the frontlets between our eyes. They're supposed to be on the doorposts of our house. Everything with the Torah is supposed to be everything in our lives. We don't pay the tax man unless we consult the Torah. We don't vote for a president unless we consult the Torah. We don't do a lot of things that we do. And when we would consult the Torah, number one, we wouldn't be voting for a president. We wouldn't be doing all of this kind of stuff. We would be a set apart people that is very much different than the rest of the world. So with that, we are getting into this. Miss Nicole, will you please greet our brothers and sisters and see how everyone is?
All right, we have Sarah and William, Danny Boy, Christina, Hannah, Yazbot, Chris, Yahuwah 777. It's 3:30 in the morning there.
It's 3:30. Wow. Tough.
Joanna, Yahuwah Q4H, which I think is Sandra.
Yahoo 777. This is Dragoon, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Dragoon just says that in this that Catholicism is Satanism in disguise. I 150,000% agree with that. And it's not just Catholicism. I'm talking any religious system, right? You got the Jehovah's Witness coming to your door. You join in with a group of Jehovah's Witnesses and you're on the road to hell. You wait for the Seventh-day Adventists to come to your door, right? Oh, you keep a little bit of the Sabbath day, but we don't have any other commandments, right? It's the road to hell. Every single religious system that is out there, the 400,000 plus, are all satanic. And you don't hear other YouTube channels saying this, and this is pretty much why we are a pretty limited hangout, is because the things that I say, we're not here for views, we're not here for clicks, nothing is monetized, we don't make a dime from this. What we're here for is we're here for the truth. And this is why that so many people in this world, you know, they will sit around, they will tell you those good feeling things that make you want to subscribe and send them 10% and all this other stuff. That's not us, right? We're here for the truth, and if people don't like the truth, well, there's a little X at the top right. So, Miss Nicole, continue on.
All right, Timothy, new name, welcome to you. Jeremy and Callan, Brian, Honeymoon Stitch, Loving Ya, Colleen, Grace, Mama CA, Josh, and I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
Yep, and there's a lot of you guys that come later on. So greetings, much love, shalom, 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 and we hope that you guys
Genie not of this world.
And Jeannie, not of this world. Much love to you, dear sis. All right, everybody. So here we are. We are going to be going over these beautiful laws, these beautiful statutes, and these beautiful commandments. Now, last week we spent a lot of time on this because it was only Eli and I like that. I like spending a lot of time on these things because these are important. These are these things that we have totally been lied to, that they don't mean anything. Right? When was the last time you heard somebody go, man, these Torah commands are rocking. Man, we need these Torah commands. Your life is going to be a lesser of a life if you don't have the Torah commands. You will die a physical and a spiritual death, right? The Torah commands is everything, and this is why these are very, very important. So here we are. Let us get into these Torah commands. And the commandment number 1 is to be fruitful. And, you know, we write a lot of prisoners. That is what we do. It's kind of our gig. And my inbox is always filling up with people. And the way the convicts network is very, very good. Because what you will do, if you have one convict that you start talking to and ministering to, he will start speaking to the next con. And all of a sudden, I get all these emails, and everyone's like, hey, will you please write him? He wants to talk to you. He wants him. So one of these guys I wrote this week, never had any idea. He was in Death Row, Texas. And I sent him all these laws, statutes, and commandments. And he first thing he writes back, he goes, are you a Jew? And I'm like, no, I'm not a Jew. And when you tell people you're not a Jew, the problem with the world and the society that we are in today is that we've all been brainwashed into thinking that the Jewish religion is a religion of peace. It's a religion that our Creator has given to everybody. Now, if you will look through all of your scriptures, there's never been a single time that we have ever been assigned the name of a Jew. We don't have it, right? In fact, when you're talking about a Jew, you're talking about the 4th son of Jacob, right? So you have one kid, and all of a sudden everybody wants to be called a Jew. Well, you're only representing one tribe of the 12 tribes, and more than likely you probably weren't from the tribe of Judah anyway. So here we are, and the question that everyone wants to know is are you a Jew? And when you explain to people no, and because of the brainwashing that we have had in society, number 1 is you can't say anything negative about this one particular religion, right? Because all of a sudden you hate the kids of Shem. You become an anti-Semite. So I hate the kids of Shem because I don't like what's going on with a group of people over in the Middle East. Now, when you look at this, and the very first qualifier when people start rolling their eyes is, how do you qualify who is a religion of the Most High? Well, we have 157 laws, statutes, and commandments right here, right before our eyes. Now, any one of these people, or any custom, or any country, or anybody, any religious system that violates these laws, these statutes and commandments, well, unfortunately, they're part of a satanic cabal. And so when you have laws in this, which is Deuteronomy 4:2, which is do not add, do not take away from the word, and then you end up with Jewish doctrine that has hundreds of other books, thousands of other laws, all of these other things that if you don't keep them, you by their own mouth are a goyim. You are less than a dog. You are filthy trash. There you are. So when we read scriptures, we don't know anything like this, right? We know of those pagans. We know of those who are not part of the people of our Creator, but we also know that we're supposed to love our neighbor. We're all supposed to do things like be fruitful. And coming back to our brother who was asking me if I was a Jew, his next question was, what do you mean to be fruitful? And he's like, I'm in death row. I'm in an 8-foot box. I literally can take 12 steps from one side, 8 steps to the other side, and that's where I've lived for 30 years. So I'm like, well, even in death row, you can absolutely be fruitful. You don't need to be a lounge lizard. Are you reading your scriptures every single day? Are you praying? Are you consistently building your soul up and building your world up? Or do you just lay there and fall into the state of depression, which for those who have never been incarcerated, especially in death row, it's easy to get depressed, right? All of us out here in the real world, it's easy for us to get depressed, right? Bad things happen. We fall into the state of depression and it's real sad. And all of a sudden we can stop being fruitful. Instead of us taking out the trash, taking care of our house, doing all the things we do, we end up on the couch. We end up deciding that it's better to be lazy and that we just can't make it through. And these are the kind of commandments that when we look at this commandment, and he's like, where do you find this commandment? I'm like, this is the very first commandment we're ever given. This is the second chapter of Genesis that we have been given this command to be fruitful. And so when you look at the commands and you look at the rest of the world that says these commands have been nailed to the tree, they're in the trash, they're in the garbage. All of a sudden, we don't have commands like be fruitful. If we're not supposed to be fruitful, by default, are we doing what the devil wants and be unfruitful? Because we've been put in this world for a certain reason. And so continuing on, the very first commandment is to be fruitful. And the second one, besides that, is to multiply. We're not supposed to offer our kids up to Moloch. We're not supposed to worry about this and have 2 kids per household. We're supposed to have a grip of kids. It's supposed to be a pile of kids, and their kids are supposed to have kids. Everybody's supposed to be having kids because there's plenty of room. Now, continuing on, gentlemen, next commandment.
Replenish the earth. Give back to the earth. Don't just take away from it. You need to give back.
Yep.
Subdue it. Have been over the fish, fowl, and every living creature. We should be the ones who rule the animals, not the animals ruling us. The earth, or bearing, and every tree is for food. We were given food. We were given life to eat. If Yahuwah gave us certain things, he said, you can eat the trees and you can eat the herbs, the things that bring you fruit.
Men and women should build their own families. Because the man and woman, they're supposed to build families. They are supposed to have children. They are supposed to leave their own houses and move on and create a new household.
Master sin. We can do that by keeping everything in the Torah. When we keep the Torah, we won't be sinning, and that's how we can master sin.
And a lot of people will go, you think you can't sin? You're better than everybody else, right? That's the first thing that these people from the greaser squad will come and tell you. They're like, well, you think you're better than everybody else. And in fact, those of us who are in Torah know that's completely opposite because we actually know what sin is. And so we know when we're violating it. And I would rather be the guy that knows I'm violating the laws of our Creator than being the ignorant guy at the behest of the greaser crew that tells us that there's no such thing. You don't need to master sin. You're not even in sin. That's the crazy stuff. Continuing on.
Every clean living thing that lives shall be food for you. Yahuwah gave us certain animals to eat, and he said the clean ones we are to eat. We can have those for food.
Do not eat the blood. There is life in the blood, and blood is very, very important to Yahuwah because that is where he gave life, and we don't want to eat the blood.
Walk before it and be purged. We should strive to be purged. We should strive to, in everything we do, we should keep the Torah and try and be purged before Yahuwah.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. Guys, this is the biggest, beefiest, hardest commandment that we have. And I'm not talking hard as in this is hard to keep. It's that it is told over 53 times in scriptures alone that you need to guard this. And when we say the laws are dead and on the cross, then we're breaking this commandment right here 53 times by simply saying that the laws are dead. Isn't that the craziest thing? But yet that is the slogan of all the greaser squad, religious system.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old. Between the covenant and us, we are supposed to be circumcised at 8 days old, and the male children shall be circumcised. That is the covenant between Yahuwah and his people.
Teach your children the command and guard the way of Yahuwah. We are supposed to keep the Torah going. We're supposed to keep it within the children so they do not grow up and be wild. Look at Solomon and Rehoboam. They did not have the Torah. David did not do a good job instructing them, so they fell astray and they went into the ways of the Gentiles.
Now, for you guys, how does that work for you guys? You guys were taught. I mean, you guys were what? When did we get into Torah? They were like 10?
Yeah, something like that.
Probably. It was
10, 22, 12. 12 years ago.
Been 10
Tell me how your life or your lives, any one of you guys, have been changed based upon the Torah. What do you do differently in your life that you may have done differently?
Well, I rest on the seventh day instead of going and working.
Yep.
Our lives, we know we're on the right path because we know we're obeying Yahuwah's commands. So there's no worry about are we doing wrong or right.
How does your year look when you have appointed times? What is that? What does that look for a work schedule?
We take the day off. We don't work those days.
And that's a little bit weird, though, right? Because nobody else does this. Even well, I guess the other Jews do. Those guys do, and we're not Jews. Again, we're not the Jews. But it's
They usually have it's different days, but they used to take off days.
yeah, and it's different, right? This is what being set apart is, right? Everybody should be keeping the appointed times. Everybody should be keeping the Shabbat. Nobody should be out shopping today. All these kind of things. Okay, continue on. Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. This is a very big thing, right? The world today doesn't remember. They don't know who Yahuwah is, right? They have a guy they call God, and this God is the God of mercy, and this God is going to save everybody because he sent a guy named Jesus, and Jesus rewrote the laws so that we can simply ask Jesus to let us in, and we're in, and we can be the most satanic, blood-curdling pedophiles out there, and all we have to do is just tell Jesus we're sorry, and he's going to get us in. Now, again, that everything I said right there is a complete lie because that is not what the scriptures say. In fact, Matthew 7 very clearly says, "Depart from me, you who work lawlessness." And you will explain this to the Christians, and that doesn't mean anything. Their eyes crossed like, we don't have any laws, so this doesn't mean anything for us. Okay, continue on. Keep the Passover, the Pesach. Keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Festival of Matzah. Those two.
I want to stop you for a second
Okay.
and just say that we're going to celebrate those on the 31st and the 1st of March because a lot of people have asked.
Okay, and again, so yeah, we Miss Nicole keeps the calendars, puts it all together, and she's actually a little bit behind because everybody's been asking me for this calendar. We don't have it. It was a year or so ago that we actually moved over to the Zadiki calendar. And before you guys put the rocks down, hold on, put the rocks down, everybody. Let me just tell you, first and foremost, I used to pick up the rocks as well because I used to be on the old Jewish calendar and I was howling at the moon, a lot like this. And there were certain things that I could not get into place. Number one was scriptures that were talking about this and the alignment of the scriptures. And so, we swapped from the howling at the moon to the current calendar that we're keeping. And we lost a lot of people in the process. We lost people that were dedicated people on this channel, and they're just so ticked off. And it was an eye-opening experience watching these kind of people and realizing that I used to be that kind of person when I was going on. Nowadays, I basically will say if you're keeping the appointed time on whatever calendar you are keeping your appointed time, you are rocking. Congratulations. Find that calendar. Keep these appointed times. If we're on the wrong day, it does not matter in this world that we are in. Messiah is going to deal with this. He's going to give us the right alignments. He's going to explain all the Enoch and all the Jubilees and all the stuff we can't figure out 6,000 years later from when it was designed. And so we will get this going. So pick a date, pick a calendar, pray on it, seek our Creator, and then keep it. Whatever you do not keep it because you can't figure the day out, or we're not going to be keeping anything. And the appointed times, guys, is it's a pre-party, right? It's the same thing. If you're doing this, then when the kingdom comes and Messiah comes, this same Passover, unleavened bread, it's going to be the same things. So you're not going to be changing anything if you get your routine down right now. Continue on.
There's one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew. Does not matter where you're from. Does not matter your birthplace. Does not matter your race. We are also to keep the Torah equally. Everyone that is trying to follow according to the law, everyone that is trying to follow Yahuwah's ways, we are to keep the Torah. The Torah is the same for everyone. The commands apply to everybody involved.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah. Out of Mitzrayim, we learned that the firstborn was very, very important. There's something about the firstborn, right? It's something inside of a family. It's inside of a system, not even a family, right? Animals, the firstborn. All of it is supposed to be a set apart group of people. And so these are, again, laws that we don't know because we've grown up with the laws in the trash can. Continuing on.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah. Yahuwah is the only person we should bow down to, the only one we should worship. There's nothing else we should worship.
You shall not make graven images. You shall not make idols of anything. There should be nothing. Yahuwah does not want a physical form of you for worship. He said there is nothing else that we need to make, whether heaven or in sea, so that we don't make any physical idols and we do not worship them.
Yeah, stop putting a cross around your neck, keeping an execution device around your neck, things like this, right? We know how Messiah died, and the Satanists use these little crosses and all these things for their all wickedness as well, and so we don't want to fall into that. We want to be different than that.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught. His name is Yahuwah. He said, "That is what you shall call him. If you call him God, if you call him Lord, if you take his name in vain, that is all bringing his name to naught." That is taking his name and putting zero value on the most important name in your life.
Keep the Shabbat. It is the seventh day. We should rest. We don't work. We're not cooking, and it's an appointed time.
Honor your parents. A big command. It's just one of these things. It's like it seems basic enough, but again, we live in this world where we've handed our kids over to social media. We've handed our kids over to Discord. We've handed our kids over to Twitter. We've handed our kids over to YouTube. All of these kind of things. And when our kids are involved in these kind of secular activities, it's literally like taking your kid and sending him off to a public school and expecting the kid to come back Kodesh instead of the kid coming back with dirty jokes and foulness and nudity and all this other trash. This is the same kind of stuff that is out there. And so in the event that, your kids are stuck in these satanic garbage pits of death, of literal soul-sucking death, that's when you hand your kids off to these kind of endeavors, it's going to come back and it's going to get you. All of a sudden, your kids that were, honoring you, all of a sudden they have different attitudes. All of a sudden their friends have emboldened them. They are no longer the same child, and they sit there on their phones, they sit there on their technology, and you lose them one single day at a time to the point that you wonder if their souls are ever going to be there. What have you done to their souls? And it all comes back to making sure that your kids are on the right track, impressing the law, statutes, and commandments into them. So they're not doing this because the parents and honoring them is the very first thing that you will end up with a whole bunch of disrespectful children, and your families will be destroyed because you let go of your kids.
Do not kill. Yahuwah does not want us to take a life from other people. Life is a very precious thing. It is the most precious thing and you don't want to take a life from someone. So you're not to kill. You're not to take the life.
Do not break wedlock. Again, Miss Nicole and I, we've been married a very, very long time. It's one of the greatest assets that I have in my life is besides the Torah and besides Yahuwah, is a marriage. And I'm always out encouraging all of you guys to strengthen your marriage, strengthen your spouse, strengthen your family. Do whatever it takes to separate yourself and your family from the wickedness of this world.
Do not steal. If it is not yours, don't take it. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to someone else. No matter what it is, do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor. Do not be a liar. Do not bear false witness against people. Do not tear down people's reputation for no reason when everything is fake.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors. It's how to get into a lot of trouble, right? All these prisoners that I talk to all the time, this is something that has happened, right? They started coveting, and the coveting led to, sin. Right? You get violent, and they will start coveting something, and pretty soon they have a murder on their hands, right? They have rape on their hands. They've done some horrible, horrible, horrible thing that, according to Torah, you would be killed immediately for these kind of things. So we have to be very, very careful and be thankful for everything that we have. We don't need to covet stuff that's not ours. It's not ours.
Do not make altar from a rock that the tool has touched. An altar was very important to Yahuwah when it was built. It was like a custom thing. People would build it out of their own hard work and their own hands. It was not supposed to be from tools and not supposed to be from other man-made objects. It was supposed to be pure, and it was supposed to be Kodesh to Yahuwah. Do not go up to the altar by the steps. Probably something that the pagans did, but that is one of the commands when we have an altar.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times. Really good incentive not to steal cattle or animals. If you do, you pay it back 5 times. You steal 1, it's 5 back. You steal 2, it's 10 back. So you want to make sure you don't steal cattle because that it does belong to someone else and that is not yours.
Or you go into slavery if you can't pay it back. So continue on.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Yahuwah had a specific set apart laws for criminals. He explained what to do when someone stole, when someone murdered, when someone did some sort of crime, how to deal with it according to the Torah.
Do not lie with beasts. Pretty self-explanatory. It is disgusting.
Yeah. No sacrifices to other Elohim. We live in a very pagan world, and This was something that obviously that the people of Israel fell a lot. This is one of the greatest crimes that they did, is they would, even from the days of Joshua coming out of Egypt, all throughout, them going into captivity, they were always out there with their Asheroth poles. They just couldn't get rid of the other Elohims. And that's the thing, that people still worship a guy named Jesus, and they worship a guy named God, and they don't even realize that these people are not the people of the scriptures. Like the guy that they call God, his name is Yahweh. He's merciful, but he's also a very strategic leader, right? He tells us what we need to do, how we need to do it. He doesn't leave gaps. We don't not know what to do in our life. If we will simply read the scriptures, then we know that our Elohim is good. And so the only Elohim we have is Elohim Most High, and that is the danger of the Trinity. Is that you will take our Yahuwah and our Yahushua, and you will make them the same Elohim, and you break a commandment by taking the Son of the Most High and making him the Most High. And those are problems. These are all things that we've inherited in these traditions.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow. These are the people that are going through it the hardest times. These are the people that have nobody lean on, nobody around, and you're supposed to help them. If you are to oppress them, you are doing a great crime. You are a horrible person if you are taking someone's pain and making it worse. If you're taking someone who is struggling and making them struggle harder. Yahuwah said you are supposed to take care of these people. You are supposed to leave things in the field for them. You're supposed to leave food. You're supposed to watch over them. You're supposed to take very good care of them because they are suffering. They are struggling. Yahuwah does not want his people suffering. He wants people taken care of. And that's why he built commands like these. Because if you take someone and you hurt someone, he's going to hear it. He's going to hear their cry, and he's going to strike you down.
And this is the danger of reading the books of Paul and using the books of Paul as your doctrine. Because Paul's words break this commandment. When he goes and has you qualify a widow, make sure that she's done X, Y, and Z, that she has no other family, blah, 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 blah. Paul's rules for widows contradict. He breaks the Torah in of itself. So we either need to understand that Paul was not writing Torah-based words, or he's very confused, or I don't think the argument that we're just too dense to figure out the great writings of Paul cut any kind of weight, because he very clearly gives you things in his own words that break Torah. Continue on.
Do not charge your brother interest. If your brother is struggling and needs a loan, do not make it even harder for him and charge him interest. As telling the nations to whom we don't fall away to the nations.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset. If you borrow the clothes of your neighbor, you return to him before sunset. More than likely, it's all he has, and he'll look cold in the night and cry to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah will judge you for not returning it. So if you borrow your neighbor's raiment for whatever reason, make sure you return it to him before the sun goes down.
Do not curse the ruler of your people. Now, this is not talking about the orange man. This is not talking about the pedophile, Satanist, corrupted Donald J. Trump. This is not nobody. I don't know. Hopefully, you guys didn't vote for this fella. But if you're voting, again, free men don't vote. And if you're voting, you're part of the satanic political process. So if you want to be okay with the actions of Donald J. Trump and the rest of these satanic politicians, then I guess voting is your right thing. But this is not talking about this, because you have satanic leaders that are doing very, very satanic stuff. And these are the people that they should be cursed, right? These are the people that we should be lifting up to Yahuwah, that please free the American people from this hostage takeover, that's basically, it's just ruining the world in a very, very quick pace. Continuing on.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast. It does not matter if it's clean food or for unclean food. If it is torn and you find it, do not eat the roadkill. Do not eat what has already been eaten into. It is probably infected. It's probably really disgusting and has a lot of sickness that comes with that.
No false report. Yahuwah does not want you to give a false report. He wants the truth and only the truth. If you give a false report about something or someone, you are lying and potentially hurting people in a very bad way.
Do not follow the multitude of evil. Here we are, right? We got Pete Kegsbreath, the Department of Killing of everybody, right? They're like, oh yeah, we're going into Iran. We're all doing this. We're just gonna go. We're giving everybody freedom, right? I was like, oh yeah, we saw freedom. We saw freedom in Iraq. We saw freedom in Afghanistan. We saw freedom across the world. We see how North America gives freedom, and it's the craziest thing that it's when you're putting on your little American flag and marching through the streets for a pro-war thing. Guys, this isn't our government. This isn't, I mean, we're all hostages. Every single one of them. I've never met an American, well, I've seen some people on YouTube that are like, oh yeah, this is great, Iran war. But I've never seen the average layman who is just a hostage in a country saying this is a good thing, right? Nobody wants war. Nobody wants this. It's only the warmongering Satanists that are doing what it was. And I will tell you, we were doing the audio project for the book of Daniel. And towards the end of Daniel, it so sounds like Donald J. Trump. It talks about this leader that's out there just taking off land, just doing whatever he wants. Who can fight against this man, right? According to the book of Revelation, who can fight against the beast and all his minions? There's nothing, right? We're watching a horror flick right before our eyes. So these aren't our leaders. They're not the people that we should be following. Continue on. Do not judge unrighteously against the poor. These are all things that when we are, a lot of people will say, here, there's a rich guy, treat the rich guy differently than the poor guy, right? According to Messiah himself, that's the wrong thing to do.
Bring back your enemy's cow if you find it going astray. If you see your enemy's animal, take him back home. Take it back to where it belongs. It is not harming you. It is not your enemy. Your enemy is your enemy, not the cattle. The cattle is not your enemy. Help the animals of your enemy. If it's stuck in a pit, if it has problems and needs some help it out. Like Caden said, it's not your enemy. That's your enemy, not the cow.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers. We want to stay away from those who are spreading gossip, talking gossip, spreading rumors, because we don't want to hear that. We're taking part of that is a sin, and we do not want to keep spreading this and ruining people's reputation or talking evil behind people's backs.
Take no bribes. Bribes will blind the eye of justice. Bribes are meant to sway someone's emotions. It's meant to sway someone's ideals of what is correct. And if you take bribes, you are corrupting the Torah.
Do not oppress a stranger, love a stranger. This is a command that we should love everyone. Everyone who needs help, we should all treat them the same, and we should help them out.
Give your land rest in the 7th year. When the 7th year is the year Yahuwah says to take off, let your land rest. He gives you enough in the 6th year that it will last you through year 7. And you take and let the land rest, so that in the 8th year you can begin growing again.
Do not mention any pagan names. Pagan names are demonic. They are things we're not supposed to mention. We're not supposed to bring them up to lead people astray. We are supposed to stay far away from the pagan names of the world.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. We are to be keeping Yahuwah's appointed times and not the satanic holidays of everyone else.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk. Now, this is a very unholy thing. This is a very pagan thing to do. This is something that is very wrong. And Yahuwah said, I do not want you doing this. I want you staying far away from this. Do not follow in the ways of the pagans. Do not do this. It's weird to do anyways with cooking the goat in his mother's milk. If you're going to cook a goat, cook it in some other milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you. Yahuwah sends a messenger before you. Obey it. If it is a true, if you confirm it, and there's ways to confirm that it is from Yahuwah, that it is a messenger of Yahuwah, then you follow him and do what he said, because he may be leading you out of slavery.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Yahuwah is the only Elohim we should bow down to. We shouldn't bow down to any of the fake mighty ones, no statues, no graven images. Yahuwah is the only one we should bow down to and worship.
Serve Yahuwah. We are supposed to serve him and only him. We are supposed to follow his commands. We are supposed to teach his commands. We are supposed to do his will. And that is doing the Torah. That is how we serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land. We're not supposed to make covenant with other mighty ones or other people that are not inside of Torah. We're making covenants with them, we go astray. They can hurt us, and bad things will happen when you make covenants. As though it happened to Joshua when he made a covenant with people who came from a foreign land. They lied to him, they tricked him, and that's what happens when you make covenant with people that are not in Torah.
Do not make use anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make use perfume on a normal person. So it's a special concoction specifically for the priests, and it shouldn't be put on any person besides the priest.
Do not eat the fat. Fat is for a savory smell to Yahuwah. He does not want us to eat it. Fat is usually full of toxins, so Yahuwah does not want us to eat that. He wants to be able to smell that when we do sacrifices.
Do what you say you're going to do. Being a person of your word is very important to Yahuwah. Keeping honest, keeping truth is very, very important. Yahuwah loves the truth, and he says, you are going to do what you say you are going to do. If it is a covenant, if it is a promise, make sure you follow through with it.
Return what is your neighbor's. If you have something of your neighbors, if you see something left out, return it to them, help them out. Don't keep it. Don't steal from them.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws. He gives us a list of what we can eat and what we are allowed to eat. And Yahuwah says these are animals for you, and if they are unclean, do not eat them. Stay away from them, or you will be unclean, and you are unholy if you eat them.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary.
No. Women's time separation.
Women's time of separation. Yahuwah gives us this time of separation. He gives us a time, a command of what to do when it's a woman's time to be unclean, and how to give them rest, and how to take care of everything else.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. There are certain ways on when you would get unclean, how to wash, and things like that.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim. It is the day of affliction. It says, once a year you shall afflict your beings, and we can afflict our beings by fasting, and that is a way to, it doesn't say to fast directly, but that is a way that afflicts us because we are taking away food, and it is a way to, it is the Day of Atonement. It is a day to atone for our sins. The priests would go in, and they would atone for the sins of the people once a year.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family. That is an unclean thing. That is a dark thing to do. Yahuwah says, stay away from that. He says, if you uncover the nakedness of your family, he is going to cut you off from the land.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife. Back in the day when multiple wives were allowed, then you could not do that because it was like when Yaakov, when he married two sisters, they were fighting all the time and they split apart.
Do not lie with the woman in her uncleanness. Going back to the women's time of separation, Yahuwah said, do not lie with them. Do not sit where they sit. That you are supposed to stay away from them for 7 days.
You should not sacrifice your children to Moloch, or sacrifice your children at all. You're supposed to raise your children in the Torah. You're supposed to teach them, take care of them. And if you're sacrificing them to Moloch, a pagan idol, then you are doing great sin.
Do not be a sodomite. It shouldn't be men with men. It should just be men with women. It should be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh, be holy. Being Kodesh and holy is a very straightforward thing. It is to follow the commands, to guard Yahuwah's things, to stay away from the pagans, to stay away from the people outside. He said, Yahuwah said, I give you these commands. That is how you're going to be holy. You're going to walk before me and be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field. You should not glean your vineyard. You must leave the corners of your fields and the vineyards, so that the widows, the hungry, the poor, go in there and grab food, and it wouldn't be sin. You were leaving it for them because they had nothing, and that is how they would eat.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. Have correct ways to measure and everything. Don't try and scam people. Don't try and rip them off. Be fair in everything you do.
Do not lie or be a liar. We're supposed to be honest. We are supposed to do as Yahuwah tells us to do, and we are not supposed to lie to people or to trick them in any way, because then we are unholy. And Yahuwah, it's quite a few times in different ways he says, do not lie and be honest.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due. This is, again, the hand of our Creator that loves the broken, loves the poor, loves the distressed. This is why when we pray, our prayers are heard. It's heard before the Most High. And things like this, right? There's a commandment in here. The foolish world says, these laws are dead and on the cross. Can you imagine this, right? So we have this command, pay your workers for the day's wage they're due. But you have an entire religious system that doesn't have these rules and regulations. So this is why you see the kind of stuff that happens where you don't get paid and you have to fight for your wages and all this kind of stuff. It's not supposed to be like this in a Kodesh world.
Do not harm the disabled. The fact that this command is even made is really sad, because we should know not to harm the disabled. We should be taking care of these people. We should be raising them up in the right way to go. We should be taking care of them through their struggles and their time, because they are already having a really hard time.
Do not endanger your neighbor. We're supposed to keep our neighbor safe. If you are endangering your neighbor in any way, that's not love. We're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves, and you wouldn't put yourself in danger. Don't put your neighbor in danger.
Do not hate your brother. He is family. You're supposed to love him.
Oh, this is ironic. I got between me, I have the two brothers that fight the most out of all this stuff. And this is one of these things that I'm an only child. I don't understand about sibling rivalry. I didn't even know the word existed until I got my pack of pit bulls, and the lady who was an expert on dogs said, do not keep the pit bulls. You have sibling rivalry. I'm like, well, what is that? And so here I am keeping the dogs, and I learned very quickly what sibling rivalry was. Now, this goes between the packs of furry friends and family and also the pack of furless friends and family. And one of the greatest struggles, I would say, in our house, by far, and I'm keeping it honest, and the boys always hate when I keep it honest, is brotherly love and not having a contentious environment. And again, as an only child, I don't understand this whole thing, but we do have these commands, and we do know that we're supposed to love our brothers. And we've had this conversation before in this house: is who's qualified as a brother? Is it the guy down the road that becomes a Torah keeper? He's a brother. Or are we literally talking about neighbors in our own house that are brothers? So guys, these are the commandments that have been nailed to the tree that make no sense that they're nailed to the tree. And they are obviously struggles that we have in our world that it would be, why would we have a command if it wasn't a struggle amongst all of us? Continuing on.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin. If you see your neighbor in sin and he's doing great evil, then you go to your neighbor and you tell him what he's doing wrong, and that and then if he doesn't listen to you, then you take him to before you take another person with another witness. If he doesn't listen to that person, you take him before the judge.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Oh, great. Go on.
You are to love your neighbor as yourself. Yahushua said that is the second of the two greatest commands. He said the Torah hanging on all that. You will not hate your neighbor. You will not put him in danger. You'll pay him for the day's wage he's due. You're going to take care of him if you love your neighbor.
Now, how does that work amongst brothers? Are we neighbors or are we brothers? Or are we both?
Both?
Both.
I would assume both.
Both. And so these are big things that all of us, I can rib the kids, especially going live. But I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have the same kind of issues in there. And I will say that if the kids were not in Torah as youth, at this point right now, there'd be nothing I could do. It'd be a bloodbath in my house, literally, if we didn't have the Torah to fall back onto. Continuing on. Where are we at?
Do not diverse your cattle.
All right.
We shouldn't have things like different types of breeds, different type of animals. It shouldn't be all together. We shouldn't let them breed. We should keep them all separate.
Do not mingle your seed. Don't toss all your corn seeds and all your different varieties of all your stuff into a big pile and throw it out there. And, our creator isn't just an architect. He's also a farmer. He's also, besides that, he's an engineering everything, right? He's an engineer of doom when it comes to looking at basic anything. It is crazy what our creator engineers. But when we have things like don't eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years, don't mingle your seed, right? It takes the power of the crops and you get lesser produce. And so, farming basics tells us this, but yet us as this great humanity have taken the laws of our creator, nailed them to the tree, and we don't even know why. So here we are with bad things happening because we mingle our seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool. Yahuwah makes these commands to protect us, to save us from sickness. And if you mix these two things, they cause different vibration. They cause different sicknesses. You can actually get sick from mingling these together and wearing these around for too long.
Do not lie to take a woman. If a woman belongs to someone else or is engaged to someone else, stay away from her. That is not your woman to take. That is to belong to someone else, and you are doing great evil, and you might end up dead.
Yep. Dogs all ran away, Mr. Cole, just so you know.
Do not eat
I've heard him.
Yeah. Well, that's your call.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. After planting a tree, we should wait 3 years to eat the fruit, because when it does first produce fruit, it needs to let it fall off, basically reabsorb it for more nutrients to be stronger.
Yeah, in the first 3 years, it is pretty weak. Continue on. Do not practice sorcery. Big stuff, right? We live in a very sorcery-ridden world. The pharmaceutical world is the greatest wizards of all times, right? And we saw the effect of the jibby jab. We saw what these guys wanted to do to us starting off in 2020, right? 2019, 2020 was the greatest, weirdest years of my life by far with what we saw around here. And at the end of the day, it was the sorcerers that were doing this, right? It was the sorcerers and their little minions. And again, you had the father of the quack scene. This psychopath is out there now. I mean, nobody learned their lesson, right? This guy can say anything. And these maggots that are part of the mega crew, these guys are like, oh, we love Donald Trump. Oh, he might just be raping the babies and doing pedophile stuff. But look what the good he's doing for the country. It's just the craziest thing to ever see. It's a wild world. Okay, continuing on.
Do not round your beard or corners of your head. The pagans would round their beard, and they would stylize their hair. They would do it in the name of their gods. Who has said, do not do that? He said, grow your beard out or don't grow it at all.
Do not cut yourself for the dead. We're not supposed to cut our bodies when someone dies. We're not supposed to cut them for mourning. Yahuwah does not want us to deface our bodies. He built us in His image, and He does not want us to be cutting ourselves on purpose.
Do not get tattoos. Don't deface your body, right? Get a piece of paper and draw some stuff on that, but don't do that to your body.
Do not prostitute your daughter. Honestly, one that shouldn't also have to be a command, but do not do that.
Yep. Well, that's the danger of these laws of nailed to the cross. Which law, right? Is okay. So you're cool prostituting your daughter. Bad news. Taking any of the laws of our Creator, nailing them to anything. Do not defile your temple, right? We have a body, and that is our temple. That is where the Ruach HaKodesh is supposed to live. And the cleaner that we are, the more closer to the scriptures that we are, the closer that we are with our Creator, that is where your temple is going to become a symbol and a strength of the Creator of the universe inside of you. And this is what we're all trying to do, right? And so when we take the quaxines, when we take the I can't even say these one things. What do they have every year? They have the annual beep shots that everybody takes, right? Everybody is taking all these. My mom has been, 30-year taking one of those things. These are all things we don't need, right? We have this thing called an immune system. It's called immune system, right? The point of our bodies is that we are supposed to get sick. We're supposed to get sick. When you get a cold, when you get a thing, it may feel bad. You may have to go to bed, but it's a great thing because it's the effects of our Creator's handiwork that you're expelling the toxins from your system. If you didn't get sick, if you didn't sneeze, if you didn't have the fever, then you would sit there with all these toxins in your system and your body would get sicker and sicker and sicker. The hopes and dreams of the human system is that when a cold comes around, you get the cold and you strengthen up and you toughen up, right? That's the thing. Continuing on. Do not consult the medium.
The medium is someone of a pagan origin there, someone of that consults with spirits and consults with Satan. Who said, "Do not consult them." He said, "If you're going to consult them, talk to Yah. Go pray to Yah. Don't talk to the demons. Don't talk to the evil. That only brings in more evil and brings you more demons. That can curse your life forever."
Yeah, and that's the axis of Epstein. The entire Iran war is because the axis of Epstein is going down. These people will literally, when you read these paperwork on these things, these people were killing people off in the pentagrams and literally controlling the jinn, controlling the demons. All of these people from this little island and all these Satanists, the Hillarys and the Bills and Trumps and all these people that were friends with Epstein, they all consulted the medium, right? That's how they get stuff done. And that's still how they get stuff done. For those who don't understand the occult, when you are trying to control a demon, you are bloodletting a child into something, and a demon will emerge for a little bit and give you whatever info you want. That's what these people are doing. They're not doing this just for fun. There's an effect for all of this. Continue on.
Respect your elders. They are older than you. They are wiser than you. They have been around longer. You should respect them.
That's a good one for Eli. I love that one. Have correct weights and measurements. This is a big thing right here. You're not supposed to have two sets of measurements. You're not supposed to have the light set and the heavy set. You're not supposed to charge one person something, or the rich guy that comes in, charge him something else, right? It's all supposed to be the same. Honesty is part of the Torah.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation. We are supposed to stay far away from what the nations do, how they act, how they run their holidays, how they run their lives, how they go to war. We're supposed to stay away from the manners of the nation. We're supposed to stay away from all the Satanism, all the evil, and only walk with Yahuwah.
Keep the feast of first fruit, Shabbat, Omer count, and Pentecost. These are more festivals to Yahuwah, more days. He says take off. He says, when we get first fruits, we're supposed to bring it to the altar. He says to take this stuff and give it to the priest. The priest was supposed to have our first fruits, and that was our offering to Yahuwah. And then keep the feast of trumpets, the day of blasting. Yahuwah says, do a day of blasting. We're supposed to blow our shofars, and we're supposed to call out to him. And the feast of Sukkot is the day of remembrance. It is the time of 7 days where we sleep in booths or tents as remembrance and also practice for the future.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death. In a holy land, in a good place, you were not supposed to take the name of Yahuwah in vain. You were to be killed if you took Yahuwah's name in vain, if you were in the Holy Land. Nowadays, everyone just takes Yahuwah's name in vain, but their day is coming. The day is coming when Yahuwah will judge this, the people that blaspheme the name of Yahuwah.
Actually, they don't take Yahuwah's name in vain. They take God, like some dude named God. And again, there's lots of gods, and it's one of these things. I hear people dropping the exploratives, and they're attempting to it. Like if they really thought if they knew Yahuwah's name, they would definitely be taking it in vain, but they don't, and so they just take a surtitle. It's like swearing on the name of Mister or something. Oh, Mister, dang it! So continue on.
If you kill an animal, you must give him another. It's pretty straightforward. It's your thing that's right and fair. If you kill your neighbor's animal, you give him another.
Repay injury for injury. Well, that was the old school way of doing things, right? And the good news is on that command is Messiah gave us a little bit more clarification on this. And you can even read from the book of the Nazarene. I think it was from the Nazarene where they were talking about the guy with one eye, and he did something, and their option was to take out the one left good eye that he had. And Messiah was like, "Is this making things right? Taking out the last eye that he has?" And so, the Torah isn't always like black and white when it comes to things like this, right? This is why there were priests. This is why there were people that were trained in Torah to understand this, that we can bring our issues before. Continue on.
Under the Yovel, the Jubilee year. This was a reset time, a reset period, where you would let people go free from their slavery. From if they were under your slavery, you're supposed to set them free. You're supposed to give them gifts. You're supposed to give your land rest. The Jubilee year was a time of reset. It was to set everybody back to zero.
Yeah, and let's go to that question that was there. Somebody asked about trees or something of the sort, Miss Nicole. She was trying to show it. My vision is so bad I can't see.
That's way up here.
Okay, so there was a question about a Jubilee year and how do we deal with the Jubilee year in this thing. And the understanding that people need to understand is that when you are, this is how it actually works because I grew up on a farm. I was a farmer. And so every single year for all my life when I was growing up, we had certain fields, and certain fields were certain things. One year it was hay. Next year it'd be beans. One year, actually hay would be like for 3 or 4 years because you get a good crop of hay for 3 or 4 years before you have to re-plow it and redo it. But like other things where you have beans, or you have every year after beans, the next year you throw in corn because the beans take out all the nitrogen or add nitrogen to it. The corn needs nitrogen, takes out nitrogen. And so you're always adding to this. Now, we live in this world to where you can actually do this and you're replenishing all of the nutrients in the field. But in the Jubilee year, when you do not harvest and you do not do stuff and you're not taking off, your land literally gets rest. And this is the power of you don't have to use nutrients. You don't have to do all of these kind of stuff that it is when you don't do it. You're going to have a mess the next year, right? You're going to have to do a lot of cleanup right out of the gate. But the land hasn't had to produce all of its nutrients. The soil hasn't had to put together all of its stuff. So, Ms. Nicole, what question do you have on that?
It just says, give your love and land rest in the 7th year. What if there's perennials and volunteers that come up on the 7th year? Do you get to harvest that or just let it go to waste?
I would say based upon the Torah commands, you would let it go to waste. Again, though, I don't know if anybody would ever know what a Jubilee year was. I mean, you would have to literally just pick a year and say, okay, this is the 7th year. We're gonna celebrate the Jubilee, and we're not going to do it in this time. But we're so far out of like actual legit calendars and trying to figure out where we are at in the thing that we wouldn't know from the days of old where they were actually keeping track of this much properly than what it is. Okay, confess your sins, Yahuwah, and repay who you've trespassed against. A lot of us, we've gone through our lives and we've made mistakes, right? This is the commandment to rewrite those wrongs we have made, regardless if we have to swallow our pride to make it happen.
The Torah being a Nazir. There was a Nazirite vow to Yahuwah. It was a different set apart covenant that you would go into with Yahuwah, and you would stay away from anything that came from the vine. You wouldn't shave your head. You would stay away from uncleanness and anything that made you unclean. And you would do that until you decided your time of that covenant was up, or you were unclean, and you would shave your head and you would go make a sacrifice to Yahuwah.
Wear zizi on the 4 corners of your garments. There are 4 blue tassels that you should have on your garments, and that you should have them on all the time. And their remembrance to always keep the Torah.
Yahuwah's laws for whoever touches the corpse. When touches the corpse, they're unclean. They got a bath and they got to repent because they're unclean. Touching a dead person makes you unclean.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance. It was a special set up law of inheritance, and this was made when the daughters of one of the men of the Israel died, and there was no one to inherit his portion of the land. They went to Moshe, and Moshe said to Yahuwah in what he was supposed to do, and Yahuwah said, what you are going to do is you are going to give the inheritance to the closest relative. If it's a daughter, you give it to them. If there's no daughter, then you give it to the cousin, or you give it to the nephew. And that was the special law of Yahuwah.
Next.
Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah. When you make an oath, you should make sure that you complete that oath and you do not break it. Because when you do an oath, it should only be to Yahuwah, and you should never break it.
Okay, this is one of the most important commands in my opinion. And actually, every single command is very, very important, because if we use them as an entire guide, then we wouldn't have to say things like this is the most important command. But this command is broken more, and 400,000 different religions have broken this command. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, every single thing. I mean, Islam is a religion that breaks this by themselves, right? They have all of Muhammad's words. The Jews have all of the oral Torah, the Talmud, the Kabbalah, all of these Babylonian satanic documents that came out that are very, very bad. Christians, right? When you go to the altar call, when you get on your knees and pray in front of the church, that's all adding to and taking away from the word. Celebrating Christmas, adding to the word. Easter, all of these things, we are in a lot of trouble right now because we violate this command and we're okay with it. Eating pig, right? Everybody that's sitting out there eating pig, they're like, all food has been made clean. As they hiss that to you, right? They literally will hiss that to you. And they're not only are they defiling their temple, breaking that command, not only are they defiling the commandments of Leviticus 11, but they're also they're just by simply eating one piece of bacon, they've broken like 7 or 8 commands. That's simple. That's as it is, right? They're and the next commandment, which is even more important than all of this, is guarding our soul. Guarding our soul. Yet we don't care about what we eat. We don't care about what we do. We don't care about the laws of our Creator. Yet we're going to heaven. We're on there. Yeah, Jesus is coming to rapture me because we are the rebellious children of the devil, and somehow that warrants good things. Continue on.
Learn to fear Yahuwah. We are supposed to fear Yahuwah out of respect and knowing that He can doom us forever. Like Yahuwah says, do not fear those who can hurt the body, but also those who can hurt the soul.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart, and you shall love Yahuwah with all your heart is one of the greatest commands. It's what Yahushua said. You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and soul, and that was the greatest command, because the Torah will fall on the rest. Because if you love Yahuwah, you're going to keep His commands. You are going to obey what He says. You're not going to go worship other pagan deities. You're not going to go astray away and follow other pagan holidays. You're going to, as He says, and that's how you show your love to Yahuwah.
Bind the Torah laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes. Very important stuff, right? A lot of people don't understand this. You got the Jews, and they literally will bind the Torah up on that. They miss the meaning of this, right? And everybody seems to miss the meaning of this entire thing, is that if you have something as frontlets between your eyes, let's say, for instance, you wear a hat, right? And at the end of your hat, you have a little bill at the hat, and you dangle down in front of that a little tiny, a keychain. Put a keychain at the end of your hat, and you walk around with that, right? Everything that you see is going to be right between your eyes. There's going to be a keychain that is dangling. And you're going to have to go, wow, everything I do, I have to look through my keychain. Well, that's the point of writing these upon the frontlets of our eyes, that you don't view the world unless you're viewing it through the eyes of the Torah, right? You have all of these governments of this world that are telling you one thing, and then you have the real government of the world, which is Yahuwah's government, and they tell us something totally different. So that's why if you don't know the Torah, you have put yourself into danger. If you have not taught your kids the Torah, then you have broken this commandment. And every single time that you do sin, because you have not put the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes, is because the laws don't mean anything to you. We're just an endless spiral of commandment breaking people. It's a mess. Continue on.
Somebody wants to know, what about celebrating birthdays?
Celebrating birthdays, here's the thing about celebrating birthdays. Number one is, we have no command to celebrate birthdays. There's no such thing. But we do have birthdays that have been celebrated. One particular birthday was celebrated was King Herod, when he had his little, what's the right word for this? I can't come up with the right word. It won't offend everybody. The daughter that dresses inappropriately was dancing for him, and that's the kind of stuff. So as far as birthdays go, here's the thing. If you set your kid in a chair, you put a birthday hat on him, and you give him a pile of gifts like he's a king or a queen, there's probably something wrong with that. And we did grow our kids up into this. We stopped celebrating birthdays probably about the same time we started keeping Torah. So probably about 12 years since anybody's had a birthday party. But prior to that, yeah, we used to adorn our kids in gold and silver and set them in a chair and have them blow out and make wishes to the the cake. All of these things right here are very unbiblical, right? We don't have any kind of thing that we've seen people get a cake and birthday candles and blowing the cake. Herod wasn't blowing birthday candles out. Abram, Moshe, nobody celebrated birthdays, nothing. We don't have anything like that. So based upon scriptures that we don't have any events of like legitimate birthday celebrations that we have, buy them gifts, buy them this, dress them up, hang stuff up. I would say we should be very limited with what we're doing as far as that goes. Because if we're making our kids into spoiled little rotten brats because once a year they are literally gods of this earth, that could be a problem. And so I think our decision to stop celebrating birthdays was the right decision. We will still give people hugs. We'll still give them, loves and wish them happy birthday. But as far as like, little coned hats on their things and little like zzz, those little, whatever those things and little noise makers, we don't do any of that. So, all right, continue on. Where are we at, fellas? Let's get through this.
We are on.
Do not tempt Yahuwah. I think.
Yep.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Yeah, definitely. Think that right.
We're not supposed to tempt Yahuwah. We're not supposed to cause him anger. We're not supposed to try and test him. That's a very dangerous line to cross.
Eating pig is going to tick off Yahuwah, right? If you are his, right? Now if you're not his, he probably doesn't even care. But things like this, like if you really truly believe that you are a child of the Most High and you do things that tempt Yahuwah, it's very dangerous. Why would you ever want to mess with the creator of all things? It just could be very, very bad. Continue on.
Do not do what's right. Do what is right.
Spit it out, boy.
Sorry, I'm the wrong one. Do what is good and do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah. If it is according to Yahuwah, then we do it. If it is evil and against His Torah, then we do not do it. We do everything through the sight of Yahuwah, which is the Torah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies. Again, we all live in a very pagan world. We got a lot of enemies, especially Boss Clan. We have a lot of enemies. Like when we do cling food kitchens, we have all these greaser style cooks that go after us. They're like, "Oh, you can eat whatever you want to eat." We make a stand. Literally, we make a stand, and it has ticked off a lot of people in these communities that they're good. Their entire industry is giving people pig, and our entire industry is making sure people understand there is a better way of eating than eating unclean food. So don't be afraid of your enemies. And remember Yahuwah, right? Very, very important, right? We remember Yahuwah. Part of the Shema is that in the mornings, at nights, in the afternoons, right? It's all about Yahuwah. It's all about walking His laws, walking His statutes, walking His commandments, and getting our lives in dial to as much of a perfection that we can do according to the Torah. Now, that doesn't mean that we're sinless. It doesn't mean that we're better than anyone else. It doesn't mean anything. It matters that we know what the Torah is and we're trying to achieve the walk. Continue on.
Circumcise your heart. We are to be as like registered. We are entering the covenant with Yahuwah, and we should always be in the covenant keeping His commands.
Cleave to Yahuwah. We are supposed to strive to be next to Yahuwah. We're supposed to strive to be with Yahuwah. That is our goal, is to be Yahuwah's people. We're supposed to cleave to Him. We're supposed to cleave to His name and to His commands, everything He has.
And one way not to cleave to Yahuwah is birthdays, celebrations, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, all of these other things where our Creator is not involved, right? He has never given us ordinances. He's never given us statutes. We have no laws like this. And so we're cleaving to Hasatan, the devil, when we take up the world's ways. Swear by His name. There's only one name under heaven by which man is saved, Yahushua. And when we swear by the name of our Creator, make sure your oath is right. Make sure that you're making this oath, and don't break the oath when you make your swearing.
Destroy graven images. When you see idols, you're supposed to tear them down. You're supposed to throw them down. You're supposed to smash them. You're supposed to let the graven images be around you or in your house. But nowadays, you'll probably go to jail if you go and start smashing idols that people own.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim. We should worship Yahuwah. We should know who He is, even if we can't see a physical figure of Him like the pagans want.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with. Yahuwah has blessed you with so much, with life, with breath, with taste, with smell. And we are supposed to rejoice in all that Yahuwah has given to us. Another day of life. We are on the Shabbat. That is something to be rejoiceful for.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes. If you think it is right, do not do it. Do it only if it is right according to Yahuwah's laws.
Do not harden the words of false prophets. If a prophet comes and says, let's follow other Elohim, let's follow the worship mighty ones, let's make derivatives, do not follow them, do not listen to them. Only follow the true prophets of Yahuwah who, when they say something, it comes true.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. Another pagan thing, right? All these pagan things that
I
came.
think it's shaving eyebrows.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes. I mean, that's shaving eyebrows. It's
Yeah.
also I mean,
If you
they're-
have hair between your eyes, don't shave it.
well, yeah, they have it. Some guys have unibrows.
There you go. Don't cut it.
I know a lot to do with
That's for the
unibrows.
dead. I feel like if you have a unibrow, you can cut it. But this is like for the dead. It's
Yeah,
like
no, this is definitely, this is like somebody dies, and so we shave our eyebrows, we shave our head, we shave our all this kind of stuff, right? It's the pagan rituals. We don't want to do what the world does. Okay, you shall not eat any abominable thing, right? We don't eat shrimp, we don't eat lobster, we don't eat catfish, we don't eat all these unclean foods. It's not food. It's not even an unclean food. It's not even called food. It's never been called food to begin with. It's when people are like, all food has been made clean, the argument is, well, why not eat some corpses of somebody that died young, right? You got a kid that just died at like 20 years old. That meat ought to be like tender. Let's just pop that dude into the crock pot and let's eat him. Well, all food has been made clean. Well, we can't eat that, but yet you eat vile stuff like pig and everything else. So there's some weird things with these people and what they will eat and what they won't.
You shall give to a stranger clean food and that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it. If the food dies and is clean, you can eat of it, but if you cannot eat of it, but if you have a stranger around, you can eat it.
Spit it out, son.
It's tithe your increase of seed year by year. We're supposed to give tithe our increase of seed year by year to the priests. Every single year, we're supposed to give some of our increase to the priests so that they had to have to eat, since they couldn't do what we had. They didn't have the option, to have land and have all this stuff. So we give them what we have.
Laws of the end of the 7-year release. At the end of 7 years, people would, people like slaves, the loans, they would all be released and it'd be back to normal.
Yeah, Jubilees. Do not borrow from the nations, right? It's simple enough. We're not supposed to be part of the nations if possible, and a lot of us, unfortunately, we're stuck in these places, and sometimes that's the only place to borrow from. But in a proper land, we're not supposed to be dealing with others outside of it, and so we're missing our government, the real government, as of right now.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor. There are people that are poor in this world. There are people that need help, and if you shut your hand from them, you're just as like the rest of the world that turns a blind eye to them. Yahuwah wants you to take care of the poor. He wants you to teach them. He wants you to preach them. He wants you to sit with them and show them the love that you have been given. If you are in a better spot, you are in a blessed spot, you should share those blessings with people.
Guard month 1, Yahuwah's calendar. Month 1 is very important on Yahuwah's calendar. That is the first feast. That is when the year resets. And Yahuwah says, guard month 1.
It's the only month that we actually have kind of a name for, which is they call it Aviv. But all these other months that come out, they've like when they come up, they literally have a month named Tammuz, right? This is all Jewish, Babylonian Satanism, right? Our Creator has month names, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But these guys, when they came out, I mean, they have the what are some of the months names they came out with, the satanic ones? Nisan, Tammuz, all these things, right? And so part of the walk with our Creator is making sure we're observing His Kodesh times when we're supposed to. Continue on.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah. But back in the days, they had the temple was to appear before Yahuwah during the feast, was to go to Jerusalem and appear and show our attendance and dedication to Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates. And the land, we're supposed to appoint those so we can have a fair and just land.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar. You're not supposed to do anything with false deities or pagan ones, but especially don't plant it near the altar. That is a sacred thing, and if you plant it near the altar, they'd probably take you out and stone you.
Yeah, but the thing was, from the days of Joshua all the way to captivities, the Asherah poles were the big thing, right? That was the thing. Is everybody's like, hey, let's go put up an Asherah. Oh, that's cool. Let's go worship the Asherah pole. And at the end of the day, that's Nimrod's wife, Semiramis. And so when the Tower of Babel came and split into 70 different languages, they ended up with 70 different names for Nimrod, 70 different names for Semiramis, and 70 different names for Tammuz. And everybody uses them to this day, and they're all the same individual. Continue on.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses. When there is a matter that needs to be disputed or settled, there must be 2 or 3 honest witnesses that bring it before either a Levite or a judge or someone to set the matter right.
Hearken unto the prophet who has chosen. If there was a prophet that was tried and true, that was actually proven to be a real prophet, you're supposed to hearken to him and listen to what he had to say.
Prophet test of Deuteronomy. There was a test to see if what someone said came true, and you would listen to them, and if they weren't, they were a false prophet, you should not listen to them.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line. Another command in honesty that you're supposed to, if you have a property line, you're not supposed to remove it to get an extra inch, to get your extra whatever. You're supposed to keep it as is, because that is more deceiving. That is more of what corrupts the land, more of what corrupts the people.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers. If someone is a false witness, they say this person was caught doing this, then they shall be punished in the same way they wanted to punish the other person.
The first child is double portions, because they're supposed to be the leaders, the ones who take care of them when the family are gone.
Now, I got one kid that's sitting there with his head going up and down. I got the other twin who's going left to right with a no. Because every time we do this commandment around this table, the first child, the oldest, always loves that commandment. Now, why do you love that command, Jade?
Double portions are great.
Double portions are great. Now, what would a double portion to you, what if I gave you a double portion, what would I expect out of you when I kick the bucket?
That I take care of the youngers.
Yes, that my wife, not just the youngers. I'm talking about my wife. I'm talking about everybody in my family. The double portion goes to those who are supposed to be responsible to take care of something when dad, pops, moi, kicks the bucket. So, continue on.
Great. If your brother's cow or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them. Another command in honesty: if you see something that is, you know who it is and you know where it belongs to, you go take it back to them. Don't keep it. It's not yours. It's not. Who wants honesty? He wants people that will be respectable, that are honorable people, that will do what is right when the time calls for it.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, or a man wear what pertains to a woman. Unfortunately, in the world that we live, we would have a lot of people outside the city gates. We would take them all out there, the men in high heels and the women that are duded out. They wouldn't make it, right? This is an abomination. Not only does it break this commandment, it also breaks the sodomite commandments, because usually they're sodomite. It also breaks being fruitful commandments, keeping your temple undefiled. There's a tremendous amount of commandments when you get wacky and you decide that you're going to, I don't know, grow a beard and you're a female, or, put some dress and high heels on, right? This is a corrupted world that we live into, and I will promise you that in the kingdom to come, it's not going to be like this. We're not going to have to sit and wonder if this is a dude or a chick that you're talking to, right? This is the strange world that we're in. And 25 years ago, it was never like this. Nowadays, you can't tell with the hormones that they're doing. You have no idea what the heck is before you. Okay, do you have anything, Mr. Nicole?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Loving now says, does trimming your hair beard count as rounding? I saw someone arguing about it.
I don't think so. We talked about this last week. I don't think that if you need to trim your beard, and I'm saying the swather. For anybody that has been in farming, you run the swather across your beard. That's not like a little lawnmower, right? We're not talking about the little trimmers, the little guys trimmers or whatever. Let me just groom up here, your little nose stuff and all this other grooming tools that the beta males and all that stuff do. I get it. Yeah, we're a we're high tech hillbillies. We are rednecks at the core, and we're just really the whole thing of men and women and all this other stuff. It's not good. So if you want to be a man up, right? I mean, when was the last time? I mean, you look at a dude with a gnarly beard and you're like, that guy's awesome. That's the guy you would bring into your orchard. You're like, give that guy an axe. This guy is a tough man. Regardless, I mean, there's something about having a beard that it distinguishes you right out of the gate, right? You either have the girly men or you don't. And sorry, I don't mean to offend everybody. You're dealing with a guy with a 2-foot beard, 1.5-foot beard. I won't shave it. It's never going to get shaved in my lifetime, I do not think. So continuing on, let's get into it. I don't know if that answered. Did that answer anything? Have I offended everybody? I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys.
So the clothing, men not wear what?
Yeah.
So this refers to opposite clothing and not women who can't wear pants, jeans, shorts.
This is not, if you are a chick and you are going out, like Miss Nicole cannot wear a dress because she will have 9 pit bulls that will blast off out of this house and they would get caught up in her dress and she would end up in the ER on a daily basis. If you are a chick and you feel manly and you decide that you want to put on some work boots and a pair of pants and the thing, and your objective is to be a man and to act like a man, that's the problem,
It's
right?
more of the intent of it.
Yes, it's the intent. There are a lot of times you would not want to wear dresses in certain occasions, especially out here on the farm, jungle farm. A lot of critters could crawl right up your legs, and it's not going to be a good thing. So it's a time and place for everything. And like Kate said, it's all intent. If you are literally feeling a little girly, man, and you're a dude and you want to put on a dress and lipstick, that's a problem, right? Your head is realigned. You need a life realignment. There's something has very much gone wrong in your life that you are to this point. So, I don't know if that answered it or I offended everybody, but again, I love you guys. I don't mean to offend anybody. Here we are. Next, gentlemen.
Bird's nest.
Yeah, bird's nest.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the baby, not the mother. You are allowed to take the babies and eggs because they cannot fend for themselves, they cannot reproduce themselves, but the mother, she can lay more eggs. And there's probably a situation where you can't put the nest back up, or you can't put it back up in the tree. It is something where it is life or death for these birds.
Yeah, you touch the eggs, and a lot of times the mothers will reject that whole thing. And the point of this is not to kill off the entire family structure, right? I mean, you take the birds and the eggs, you just wiped out an entire genealogy of that particular bird. And our Creator loves every critter that He makes. He knows all of them. He knows everything about them, and you can tell from scriptures that He cares about them enough that we have commands like, "Don't let your enemy's cattle get owned," right? You see, it's like stuck in a ditch. Take care of the enemy's cattle. This is not the cattle's or the animal's fault. Continuing on, if you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it. Don't let people fall off your roof. Continue on.
Do not be a prostitute. That is another messed up one. That don't be a prostitute.
Don't use dirty money. If money comes from prostitution, some kind of wicked thing, don't use it.
Yeah.
Burn the money.
Well, yeah. I mean, if your money's coming from prostitution, you're obviously in the wrong industry.
Yeah.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge. Again, the Creator of the universe loves everybody so much that He does not want you not even to be able to make a food for yourself. And that's what this was, right? They gave you their grinder for their stuff. It's very important that they are able to eat. And understand this same consideration that our Creator has to a person in their millstone, He knows about you. If you're feeling alone, if your power bill gets cut off, your water gets cut off, you don't have everything, and everything's against you, right? Understand our Creator understands this. You're not alone. And sometimes things happen as part of testing, but we're not alone. And if He loves the birds, He loves the cattle, He loves you for sure. Okay. If you lend to your brother, am I the only one here? If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get his payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge, right? Things happen. Somebody gives up something or other. Don't go breaking into the dude's house to get your stuff back.
Do not put the hired servant that is poor and needy. If someone are struggling as it is, do not make their life any harder.
Every man should put to death for his own sin. You not put to death for someone else's sin. No one else not put to death for your sin. Everyone will be judged for their own sins.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and the widow. And this is where the people are like, your God is a God of anger and violence and killing. And here He says, leave food for people that can't fend for themselves. He says, give them food. Don't starve them. He says, if you have excess, you obviously don't need it. Leave it for them.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? A lot of people are like, they will read the Old Testament and they're like, oh, this is a maniacal God. He wants you to go in and destroy everybody. And these people don't realize their ignorance is their destruction, because the people that our Creator was trying to destroy were corrupted DNA. They were the people of the quacky zini, right? The people that took that stuff that aren't quite human anymore. That's what these people were. They were all giants. They were all Nephilim. They corrupted DNA that our Creator was trying to kill off, so the world didn't end up like it is now, where it's all corrupted.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out the grain. When you have an ox working for you, don't muzzle him. Let him eat as well. He gets tired. He needs food too.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother. So this is, this doesn't actually work in the society that we are in right now. That being said, it is a Torah command, and in the event that your brother's sister dies, then you may not need to go into her, but you probably do want to help her raise up the kids, and it doesn't end up like this. The point of this whole thing was that this woman would have a support structure. The kid, there would be a name that lives on once your brother dies, and that's a big thing, right? We live in the world of killing off everybody. This was the world where they were trying to keep people alive. Continue on.
At the end of 7 years, you must read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. It was a command to make the people remembrance when the people were all gathered together once again for Sukkot. They were supposed to read the Torah so they did not forget it. So they remembered what they were doing this for.
Okay, so there we are, guys. These are 157 easy peasy things that any one of us can absolutely do. These are things that will make your life better. They will make your existence better. You will live longer, right? All of these things in here, there's chances that you will go against these commands and die. And so, when Moshe tells everybody out there, he goes, you know what? You guys can choose life or you can choose death. This same words that Moshe has spoken to us is for all of us today, right? Choosing life means choosing the Elohim and choosing our Elohim and the Torah of our Elohim. Choosing death means throwing the laws in the cross, throwing the laws to the ditch, nailing them to the cross, and doing whatever you want. Being a child of the devil. Okay, here we are. Devarim, chapter 26. Mr. Cole, you have a question.
That I missed earlier.
All right, what do we
It
have?
says, is having elements, communion, on Shabbat biblically correct?
What?
I don't even know what elements are.
That's what I was wondering too.
Isn't elements like something to
Like
do with
water.
like new school stuff?
I don't know, is that like water and the grape juice and the crackers?
You might have to
I don't
explain this.
know.
We're a little slow here. We live in the jungle, so having elements. What is it? What's the question
Or
again?
communion.
Elements, water for communion. I think is the thing.
I don't know. No, I lost the thing. Is it biblically correct or something on a Shabbat?
I don't think it's a
I,
command.
yeah,
to do
I don't.
that.
I don't think I would be. I would if you're keeping something on a Shabbat. If you're keeping communion on a Shabbat, I think that's way better than attempting to do this on a Sunday, right? When the rest of these pagans are worshiping their lowercase Elohim, their gods, the way they do that. So.
So is having the elements communion on Shabbat biblically correct? I don't see it referenced.
I don't even know. I'm too ignorant to even know what it means to when it says elements. I don't see that keeping a communion is a bad thing. Keeping it on a Shabbat or whenever it is, because I mean the part of communion is doing it in memory of our Messiah, right? That's the whole point of this entire thing is remembering the Passover and the work of our Messiah and all of this kind of stuff. So you might have to explain a little bit what the elements are. So
Sacrament is what.
that's a
There
Catholic
is.
thing. Sacrament. I don't know. I remember when I was in, my mom sent me to Catholic school when I was like third, fourth grade or something. They always had sacrament. They're like, let's go to sacrament. And it's like you get the treats. You go get the treats and a little drink.
So wine and bread.
Wine and bread. Look, if you're we don't have a command. I mean, there's no commandment against us, right? If you want to keep Passover or not, but like communion like that, I don't see there's anything wrong with this, right? As long as you're doing it on a Shabbat, even if you're not doing it on a Shabbat, as long as you're not doing it with the pagans and the rest of the people, that's what we were told. It's an instruction. Messiah says, "Do this in memory of me." So I don't see anything wrong with this. I guess it depends on how much wine you're drinking, but I mean, even then, I'm done with the jokes. Here we go. Devarim, chapter 26. Jade, give us a breakdown. Where we're at.
We are in the desert. We are outside the promised land. We are waiting to go into the promised land. And Moshe is getting towards the end of his life, and he is recapping for the children of Israel. He's teaching them the commandments. It's a new generation. The old generation can't go in because they got cursed. So last week, Moshe was talking about the disputes between men and how to go before judges and wickedness.
Yeah, I know, we're all cracking up.
So
we're,
funny.
We're cracking
So
because
funny.
you said they were in the desert. We're in the desert.
Are they?
Well, that is true. No, that's very true. And it reminded me of this Iranian war right now. It's like part of the reason that it's impossible for people to ground troop into Iran is because they have two big deserts that are right in the middle of it. And everybody that's ever tried to invade them dies in the desert. And so here we are in the desert. So, Devarim. Here we are, guys. And it shall be, when you come into the land which Yahuwah, your Elohim, is giving you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take some of the first of all the fruits of the land which you bring from your land that Yahuwah, your Elohim, has given you, and shall put it in a basket, and go to the place where Yahuwah, your Elohim, chooses to make his name dwell there. And you shall come to the one who is Kohen in the days, and say to him, I shall declare today to Yahuwah, your Elohim, that I have come to the land which Yahuwah swore to our fathers to give us. And the Kohen shall take the basket from your hand and place it before the altar of Yahuwah your Elohim. And you shall answer and say before Yahuwah your Elohim, my father was a perishing Aramean, and he went down to Mitzrayim and sojourned there with few men. And there he became a great nation, great, mighty, and numerous. But the Mitzrites did evil to us and afflicted us and imposed hard labor on us. Then we cried out to Yahuwah, Elohim of our fathers, and Yahuwah heard our voice and saw our affliction and our toil and our oppression. And Yahuwah brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand, with an outstretched arm, with great reverence, and with signs and wonders. And he brought us to this land, and has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now, guys, I see a lot of times people will, there's the guy that I like to make fun of on YouTube. His name is Bathrobe Bob. And Bathrobe Bob tells everybody never to keep the commands, not to keep the commands, not to keep the appointed times. And he says, because we're not in the land. And that's his excuse. He's like, don't keep any of the appointed times because we're not in the land. Now, this is a very ignorant stance when you're looking at this, because just like anything else in your life, if you don't practice it, you don't understand it, right? Somebody takes you to something, it's brand new to you. You're going to look at it. You're going to try to figure it out. It's going to be foreign to you. But when you practice a appointed time, all of these things, and all of us, we're not in the land. There is no land today, right? The people that are over there as terrorists of that land, it's not their land. According to Bible prophecy, that land and all the people over there, it's going to be a wipeout mission, right? The people that are coming into this land are going to be dragging corpses off of that and trying to get this land back clean. It's not going to go like they thought. And so if your idea is that you don't keep the commands because you're not in the land of Israel, I would like to strongly encourage you to change that perspective, because you're never going to make it to the land unless you are keeping these appointed times, unless you're keeping the festivals, unless you're keeping all of these things that our Creator says. It's not going to be a bunch of disobedient rodents that are taken and into the rapture bus and taken over there, right? They're not taking these pork-eating, commandment-breaking, law not abiding people and giving them the chance. The chance that we have is right now, this day, this moment. All of us have a chance to choose life, or by default, we choose death. You can't be right up the middle. There's no wishy-washy. This is why they talk about the narrow path. There's a left and the right that just fade into destruction that most people don't make it. Ezra says that. Ezra is crying to Yahuwah and saying, what about all these people that are destroyed? And they say it's a drop of water of the people that are saved compared to a wave. And Ezra's like, that can't be. And Yahuwah says, rejoice for those who are saved. Don't cry for those who've rejected me. Don't cry for those who have gone their own way. Every single one of us have a choice that we can choose life if so we choose. Continue on. And the final point of this thing is that these people, right, this verse is talking about going into a land flowing with milk and honey, right? Sometimes we're so broke we can't open the door of our fridge, and sometimes there's not milk, right? Sometimes we don't have honey on the shelf, but we are in a land of milk and honey. We're in a land where we can choose life, we can choose obedience, we can choose our Creator, and we can wait for the real government to show itself. Not these greaser governments that are out there right now. 10. And now, see, I have brought the first fruits of the land which you, O have given me. Then you shall place it before Yahuwah your Elohim and bow down before your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all the good which Yahuwah your Elohim has given to you and your house, you and the Levite and the stranger who is among you. When you have completed tithing, all the tithe of your increase in the third year, which is the year of tithing, and have given it to the Levite, to the stranger, to the fatherless, to the widow, and they have been satisfied within your gates and have been satisfied, then you shall say before Yahuwah your Elohim, I have put away the Kodesh portion from my house, and also have given it to the Levite, and to the stranger, and to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your command which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commands, nor have I forgotten. There's a lot that we need to talk about right here, right? This is the tithing section. When you are in these satanic religious systems or these greasy, nasty people that are sitting there taxing you 10% of your money to conduct their satanic operations, this is where nobody quite understands. People even ask me, they're like, Jason, can we tithe to you? Can we give you money? And there's never ever been a place anywhere in this existence that people can give us money, right? I would be a con artist. I would be a scam man. I would be one of those guys that are trying to teach you salvation or trying to teach you what the scriptures say and being rewarded for it. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. It wouldn't be good. It would be one of these things that we've been given free scriptures. We've been given the Torah free. We've been given our Elohim Most High free. We've been given Messiah Yahushua free. And then some people out there are sitting there charging and taking you for 10% to tell you the truth, right? Our Creator can put gold out of the sky, or he can make it rain gold on top of our heads if so he wanted us to. And so people always say, well, what do I give my tithe to? How do I make this world a better place? And I will always say it's not giving it to any one of these satanic institutions that are 501c3 anythings, right? If you want to tithe, if you want to make a difference in the world, go to a store and buy 100 pounds of bagged rice. Then drive to the ghettos of any place that you know that are ghettos and give every family that's sitting out there a bag of rice, right? All of a sudden, they're not going to use the bag of rice. Hopefully, they don't use it for drugs. Hopefully, they don't use it for anything. Hopefully, they go and they can boil some water and stick some rice in there and have a meal. Imagine this. One bag of rice will feed a family for a long, long, long time. I don't know if you guys have ever made rice, but for those who make a lot of rice, it makes a lot. I used to make rice for my dogs in a little bit of a bag. I could feed my dogs the entire day, 9 of them. And so if you want to tithe, if you want to make the world a better place, then right here in these scriptures, it very, very clearly says, if you want to tithe, you gave it to the priest. We don't have the Levites anymore. Well, we got the strangers, we got the fatherless, and we definitely got the widows. Every single one of these people right here would love a bag of rice more than likely. And if you want to tithe, if you want to make the biggest difference ever, that's the cheapest, easiest way that you guys can absolutely do that. Continuing on. 14. I have not eaten any of it when in mourning, nor have I removed any of it for any unclean use, nor given any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah my Elohim. I have done according to all that you commanded me. Look, from your Kodesh dwelling, from your holy dwelling, from the Shamaim, and Barak, your people Yisrael, and the land which you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Today, Yahuwah, your Elohim, is commanding you to do these laws and right rulings. Guys, this is something very important. This word right here in the verse 16, it says today. Now, I know that we're reading stuff that happened in the past. Some of this was past tense. But what is not past tense is the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. They are present tense, and they will always be present tense. They were given to us in past tense, but they were for all days, all generations, all peoples, all times, all everything. These laws, statutes, and commandments are for us. They didn't expire. So today, everybody, Yahuwah, our Elohim, is commanding all of us to do these laws and right rulings. What laws and right rulings? Well, the 157 commands we just went through, right? All of these commandments. Loving our Elohim with all our heart, mind, and soul. Loving our Messiah. Loving his rules and regulations, right? And we shall guard. Again, here's that thing, over 53 times in scriptures where we're told to guard the laws, statutes, and commandments. Here's one of the 53. And you shall guard and do them with all your heart and with all your being. You have today caused Yahuwah to proclaim to be your Elohim and to walk in his ways and guard his laws and his commands and his right rulings and to obey his voice. Guys, the most we have even said today, besides the Torah commands, which we're talking about, is this particular thing right here. Guys, all of us today, we've caused Yahuwah to proclaim to be our Elohim. That's what we want. We want an uppercase Elohim. We want Elohim Most High. And how do we do this? Well, he's told us we want to walk in his ways. We want to guard his laws and his commands and his right rulings and to obey his voice. Now, when we say that we have nailed the laws to the cross, is that obeying his voice? Or are we tempting Yahuwah? Are we doing evil in the eyes of Yahuwah while we're doing what we consider good in our own eyes? Because when we take the laws, statutes, and commandments, you're making one individual very, very happy. Hasatan, the devil himself. He's the greatest rebel of all. He's the commandment breaker of all, and he loves when people break commandments. That's his way. And if you want to be on the same level as Hasatan, then simply make him your daddy instead of Yahuwah. 18, and Yahuwah has caused you to proclaim today to be his people. That's you guys, every one of us, a treasured possession, as he has spoken to you, and to guard all his commands. so as to make you high above all nations, which he has made for a praise and for a name and for esteem, and for you to be a Kodesh people to Yahuwah, your Elohim, as he has spoken. So inside of 3 verses, 17, 18, and 19, we have the guides of life. If you only walk away with one thing right here, it's that if you want to be a treasured possession in the eyes of the creator of the universe, how do we do it? Well, it says right here, we guard all his commands, and he will make us high above all nations, right? We may not rise above it, and we may not on this world, but there's coming a world when we're going to be hanging out with Messiah Yahushua, who's going to be reigning and defeating all of these losers that are out there, these Satanists, these demons that are doing all this kind of stuff. So guys, today, if you do not walk in the laws, statutes, and commandments, my friends, I would strongly encourage you to please, please, please pick up your scriptures and read. Understand that these scriptures are for you, that this message is absolutely for you. Okay, let's get into this, guys. Let's get into our next thing. We are into the book of Yochanan. Eli. So here we are. Yochanan, chapter 20. Just a fantastic book for those who've not been following along on the series. We've been doing this for a little over 3 years, I think, is what Miss Nicole said. These Shabbat readings that we're doing right here. Prior to that, we used to get online all the time, do all the stuff. But we keep going through the Torah, we keep going through the Besorah, and it's going to be interesting because I don't know what we're going to do when we get to the end of this. I don't know so much as I actually want to go into Acts. Maybe. Would like to see, maybe you guys can out there pop it in there. What do you guys want to see after we make it through the book of John? Do we go back through it? Do we work strictly on the book of the Nazarene? What do you guys want to do out there that will keep this a Kodesh gathering? So let me know out there. And guys, break me down. What's happening here in the book of Yochanan?
So we are getting very close to the end of this story of John. Yahushua has been here. He's made miracles happen. He's brought his people in. He's set his disciples apart. He was sacrificed on the stake, and we are here waiting after his death now. We are mourning his death. We are out here waiting for a return. We are waiting for his time to come back, and the disciples still understand fully when they are going to see him again. They just know that he said he will see them again.
Yeah, and it's the book of Yochanan is really interesting, and we're after the death, burial, and we're heading into the full-on resurrection of our Messiah. And I guess he's been resurrected at this point, but in verse 1, this is something that a lot of people do not understand. Appointed times, right? The appointed times that we have when we have a Passover, that we have a what they call a high Sabbath day, and the high Sabbath day there's as we are getting into the appointed times this year, there's like 2 or 3 that are high Sabbath days that we treat as a Sabbath. When they fall in the middle of the week, we don't even go into work. We put a sign on the door the day before. We just don't show up. Now, what's happening here and why a lot of people don't understand this is because the very first part of that goes, and on one of the Shabbatov. And that's not saying like a week from the day after Messiah was killed. We're saying that the day after was a high Shabbat. And so when Messiah died, it was on an appointed time of Passover. And all of Yah's stuff, probably including the return of Messiah, is probably going to be on the day of blasting, would be probably a decent guess. But don't get confused right here, because we're still talking the exact same within a 3 or 4 day period when Messiah was killed that we are talking this. So here we are. Yochanan, chapter 20. And on one of the Shabbatoth, Miriam from Magdala came to the tomb in the morning when it was still dim and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and came to Shimon Kepha and to the other Talmud whom Yahushua loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Adon out of the tomb, and we do not know where they laid him." Then Kepha and the other Talmud went out, and they were going to the tomb, and the 2 were running together. But the other Talmud outran Kepha and came to the tomb first. Now there's Kepha, he gets a part of the jokes a lot of times, right? We know from something within scriptures that Kepha wasn't the fastest runner, like he wasn't maybe the best runner out there. And these are some of these things that we hear, little pieces of Kepha stuff, that whoever it was that was running with Kepha outran him, and he was left in the dust, as they say. 5. And stooping down, he saw the linen wrappings lying, but he did not go in. So you make it to the tomb, right? And then there's linen that are on the outside of it, and what would you expect? What would you think? Number one, if somebody stole the body, they're probably not going to take the linen off of it. They're probably not going to want to touch the corpse. They're probably just going to grab the corpse and take off. They wouldn't derobe it. It wouldn't make any sense, I don't think. But this is where, they saw the linens on the outside. They didn't know what was going on. Then Shimon Kepha, out of breath, no, it doesn't say that, but came, following him, and went into the tomb. And he saw the linen wrappings lying, and the cloth which he had been on his head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but folded up in a place by itself. Some stuff there's something to be said here, right? I find things like this, these details, really fascinating. That they found it folded up in a place. We don't know if it was like literally folded up or if it was just in a different spot. But these are the details that we get, that we can only kind of wonder how that whole event went down. So then the other Talmud, who came to the tomb first, also went in, and he saw and believed. For they did not yet know the scripture, that he has to rise again from the dead. And, this is the thing that, Yahuwah kept these guys in the dark for the most part, right? As Yahushua was constantly telling them that he was going to be handed over to the Sadducees, the Pharisees. He was going to have to be killed. Everybody's like, oh, no, you're not going to die. We're going to do this. But yet, even to the end, when it came and went, there was a veil of understanding that these guys did not have. And, we have scriptures that we can read in this day and time, like 5,000, 4,000 years later, and they make all the sense in the world. But for these guys, they didn't have the scriptures. They didn't have the same kind of stuff that we have, that we can just roll it open and read for ourselves. 10, therefore the Talmudim went away again by themselves. But Miriam was standing outside by the tomb weeping. Then as she wept, she stooped down to the tomb and saw two messengers in white sitting, one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Yahushua had been laid. And they said to her, woman, why do you weep? She said to them, because they took away the Adam, and I do not know where they laid him. And having said this, she turned around and saw Yahushua standing, but she did not know that it was Yahushua. So I think there's something, that we should discuss, right? Is that people did not recognize our Messiah when he came back. Like there was a transfiguration or something, like their eyes had not been fully open. And, they were around him. He stopped them on the road, and they didn't quite know who he was. Messiah Yahushua said to her, woman, why do you weep? Whom do you seek? Thinking he was the gardener, she said to him, Adonai, if you carried him away, say to me where you put him, and I shall take him away. Yahushua said to her, Miriam. She turned and said to him, Rabboni, which translated is teacher. Yahushua said to her, do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my Elohim and your Elohim. Now, there's there's some stuff to discuss right here, because when Messiah was on the stake and we had one of the thieves that was on the one side, Messiah very clearly said that today you will see me in paradise. Now, we know from Messiah right here that he had not yet ascended to his Father. So there's always the question of where exactly is paradise? Where exactly is it? And, some of the, extracurricular books, like in the Apocrypha themselves, they very much give us a very clear description of Sheol. Second Ezra is one of the very best that give you an accounting of the moment that you die, whether you be a soldier of the Most High or whether you be a army dweller of the devil. It very clearly says, you will, immediately go. And if you are on the side of the devil, fear, destruction, the second you're dead that you messed up badly, and there's no sleep of peace. There's no waiting for the millennial reign. There's none of this stuff, right? It's that immediately from the moment you take your last breath, you are in fear, anxiety, and understanding that you have jacked your life up very, very badly. So continuing on, here we are. Anyone know where we're at by 18? Miriam from Magdala came announcing to the Talmudim that she had seen the Adon, and that he had told her this. When therefore it was evening on that day, one of the Shabbatoth, and when the doors were shut where the Talmudim met, for fear of the Yahudim, Yahushua came and stood in the midst and said to them, peace to you. Lots of stuff to discuss as well on this thing, right? Again, the way they phrase one of the Shabbat off, it's very weird that they didn't say, you know, like it's kind of a strange way, right? It's always one of the Shabbat off because you only have two. You have the Shabbat, which was the seventh day Shabbat, and then you had the high Shabbat. And they were right there at that thing. And I've seen this confused us for years. I mean, we didn't understand this until we actually read it and understood the high Shabbats and the appointed times and things of this nature. And then all of the ways of Messiah Yahushua, his birth, his death, all of these things are on Yahuwah's appointed times, which is amazing. That, you know, this is why you just don't mess with Yah. 20. And having said this, he showed them his hands and his side. The Talmudim therefore rejoiced when they saw the Adon. Then Yahushua said to them again, peace to you. As the Father has sent me, I also send you. And having said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, this is a big event, right? This verse, 22 is something that's absolutely huge, right? Up until this moment, we don't know that we had the actual, the physical power of the creator of the universe that's known to most as the Holy Spirit. To us, that it doesn't put it in the pagan terms, it's the Ruach HaKodesh, which is the spirit, the hand, the power of the creator of the universe. So up until this point, we know that Messiah Yahushua had this because his face would glow. You can read about it in the book of the Nazarene, that every time that there was something going on, his face would glow. Same with Moshe back in the day. Same with Noah when he was born. His face was glowing because they had this. But now we have something where we have the power of the hand of the creator of the universe that is empowered to us. This was a big deal. Verse 22 is the biggest deal of this entire chapter, is that we receive the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. And we know that when you are in the Ruach HaKodesh, when your temple is not defiled, when you are living as you should be living, you power up. It's like a video game, right? Power up. You get that little mushroom and all of a sudden you're big, right? You're all set. So this is something to understand, that prior to this moment, we did not have the same kind of power, and this power is continuing on. Messiah says we wield it like this. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you retain the sins of any, they have been retained. It's interesting stuff, right? The Pharisees and Sadducees, they would have rolled over in their graves on this one, right? Because this is what they were going off on Messiah about. They're like, who could forgive these sins? But now Messiah says, because of the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, we have some sort of special power. Now, I wouldn't get too big of a head on this. I wouldn't think that you're going to be out there. I wouldn't be a Catholic priest by any means, telling people to do something in Hail Marys, your sins are forgiven. But something to very much consider, that there is a power in all of us that we probably don't even know how to wield. 24. But Toma, this is the, doubting Thomas, called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Yahushua came. So the other Talmudim said to him, we have seen the Adon. But he said to them, unless I see his hands, the mark of the nails, and I put my finger into the imprint of the nails, and put my hand into his side, I shall by no means believe. And after 8 days, his Talmudim were again inside, and Toma with them. Yahushua came, the doors having been shut, and he stood in the midst and said, peace to you. There's a couple things here, right? Messiah gives us some, I don't know if it's a battle cry, but it's Messiah's battle cry, right? Shalom to you, peace to you. So, this, what kind of greeting, right? What kind of greeting do we have? Well, if we wanted to be a follower of the Most High, that's his greeting. Peace to you. Big stuff, right? And we also know that, Messiah, there's something about peace, right? When people were beating up the disciples and there was no peace in the town, he'd have them kick the dust off and basically cursed them. So there's a lot of things to understand from this particular chapter. 27. Then he said to Toma, bring your finger here and see my hands, and bring your hand and put it into my side, and do not be unbelieving, but believing. And Toma answered and said to him, Adonai and my Elohim. Yahushua said to him, Toma, because you have seen me, you have believed. Baruch are those who have not seen and have believed. Big words. Blessed are those who have not seen and have believed. I think all of us are out there in this term, right? All of us have seen this. I don't think you become a Torah keeper like this like we are unless you believe all of the scriptures. I realize that the Jews have their own Torah and they don't believe in Messiah, but for those of us who read the scriptures and understand the scriptures, all throughout the old, what they call the Old Testament, right? They're predicting Messiah Yahushua. This is no surprise that he shows up in Matthew. There's no surprise that the Son of the Most High became the actual sin offering for us. This was all predicted. So, continuing on to this thing, it's good you believed, right? It's good all of us have believed. 30, there were indeed many other signs that Yahushua did in the presence of his Talmidim, which are not written in this book. But these have been written so that you believe that Yahushua is Hamashiach, the Ba'im of Yahuwah, and that, believing, you might possess Kai in his name. Now, I'd like to reiterate things of this nature, that you can believe that you believe, and that's what the Christians do. The Christians believe in a guy named Jesus. The Christians believe that a guy named God. But as far as doing what those individuals have told us to do, keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, they obviously don't believe in them enough to actually do it. They might believe they exist, but believe that they have the authority and the final words, right? This is what Torah keeping is about. It's about understanding the level of command, the control and chain command, right? We are simple individuals that are created by the hand of the Most High. We're lucky enough that we have made it to these testing grounds and that the creator of the universe didn't forget us. I am thankful. I shout out the creator every single day that I am alive again and I can take a breath, that he has given me another day on this beautiful land where I can breathe this beautiful air and see the beautiful people out there, the people that are keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. My family, you guys, this is what this is all about. And so guys, if you guys are Torah keepers, if you guys love Messiah Yahushua, I love you guys as my family. And I always will. And I can't thank you guys enough for sitting and listening to us ramble and to read these scriptures and to be a part of this. And I hope you guys are abiding by these laws, statutes, and commandments. I hope it's not just a Shabbat thing. I hope it's something that you guys are keeping all through your week, that this is just another day of the same days that we keep these commandments, that we love our Elohim, that we love his Torah. So with that, everybody, we love you, truly love you. We hope that you have a wonderful day. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Jehovah brought you and guard you. Jehovah made his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Jehovah lift his face upon you and give you peace.
All right, everybody. We love you. We got 3 songs for you. This is out of the book of Kalidi.
The seed goes out, hearts decide where it lands and where it hides. We choose the soil every day, so let Torah grow our way. Bigger ground, let Torah roots go deep, not down. No birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, growing strong, and bring the harvest alive along. Yeah. Yahushua spoke again, a story for the crowd of men. A soul walked with seed in hand, he scattered it across the land. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep, not down. No birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, growing strong, and bring the harvest alive. And some seed fell where birds could eat, hearts left open to defeat. They listened but they closed the door, so the seed grew nevermore. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep, not down. No birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, growing strong, and bring the harvest alive along. Some seed fell on rocky place. It grew fast but had no base. When testing came, it dried away. Shallow faith can't stay. Some seed fell in thorny care. Worldly worries choked it there. But good ground heard and held it tight and grew a harvest full of light. A big good ground, let Torah roots go deep, not down. No birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life long. Return to Yahweh, don't delay. Love and obedience lead the way. Not empty words, not a ritual alone. Torah live proves hearts are known. Hosea cry, come back again. Not burn words, but lives that mend. Yah desires mercy and truth, faithful hearts that walk His proof. Return to Yahweh, don't delay. Love and obedience lead the way. Not empty words, not ritual alone. Torah live proves hearts unknown. Only miss faith fades too fast. Yah calls hearts that truly last. Know Him deep, walk His ways. Torah love through all your days. Return to Yahuwah, don't delay. Love and obedience lead the way. Not empty words, not ritual alone. Torah live proves hearts unknown. Words without deeds fade to dust. Covenant faith is built on trust. Yahuwah heals when we return. Broken hearts that choose to learn. Return to Yahuwah, don't delay. Don't delay. Love and obedience lead the way. Lead the way. Not empty words, not ritual alone. Not ritual alone. Torah live proves hearts are known. Children rise with faithful feet. Torah paths are good and sweet. Love Yahuwah, walk His truth. That's real faith from age to youth. Return to Yahuwah, don't delay. Don't delay. Love and obedience lead the way. Lead the way. Not empty words, not ritual alone. Not a ritual alone. Torah live proves hearts are known. When the words were lost, Yahweh, I brought Torah back to life. In dust I found an ancient page, a whispered truth from former age. stood in prayer. Their tears became a river wide, and shalom rose like morning tide. Torah is light, Torah is flame, from Shamayim it came. Yahoo is Kodesh, and I will speak Baruch his name. Torah is light, Torah is flame, from Shamayim it came. Yahoo is Kodesh, and I will speak Baruch his name. Now I will teach my sons and seed, his Torah is my daily need. For when the scroll was nearly gone, Yahuwah made it strong. Torah is light, Torah is flame, from Shamayim it came. Yahuwah is Kodesh, and I will speak Baruch his name. Baruch his name. And I will speak Baruch his name.
All right, everybody. We love you all very much. We hope you guys have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat shalom to everybody. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May forever find the grace of our creator of the universe in our lives. May we forever find the walk, the Torah, the perfect walk. And may we forever see each other in kingdom to come, knowing that we have been obedient to our creator. We love you all. Shabbat shalom, everybody.